Welcome to my live stream. Okay, it doesn't look like New Glenn started broadcasting the launch yet, but I'd like to start anyway to make it appear on. Oh, we just got some music. Hang on. I hope you can hear that music all right. I'm still have no idea how I should be balancing this this thing. Alright. I just have to go by what's coming out on the gauges. Last time I tried this, I got it. It was a bit soft. Nobody could hear the light. They could hear me, but they couldn't hear the live stream. Put it that way. All right. Oh, well, it looks like we're making progress. Alright, so now I need to get the chat screen on top of the my second screen so I can turn my head slightly and see any chat that's going on, but the trouble is then I can't. Yeah, they keep changing their volume. I knew it. they're fiddling this. They're adjusting their system as well. Alright, it's a moving target. I'm sure we'll get there. As long as my voice is a little bit louder than the background, I think that's the main thing. I don't want to, yeah, I just have to just see how I go here, I think. You see, I'm hearing the New Glenn stuff as well, but through another channel, so it's not the same channel as what's going out to OBS, so the levels aren't necessarily the same. Anyway, it's always a little bit difficult with headphones. What I'm going to do, just for last, I'll switch that one off. Somebody keeps messaging me. I don't know who they are. I don't even know who they are, but why they pick. Every time I start a stream, somebody starts messaging me. It's absolutely bizarre. Anyway, I'll see if I can see what they're saying on their website. Okay, if it's any different. Yeah. Go along with the gag. It's probably just going to be the same thing. All right. I'll stick with YouTube for now. Yeah, well, you know, there's, as I said in the description, there's plenty of different channels you can listen to, depending what you're after. I think I explained all that pretty well in my my live stream description. The only other guy I was going to see, I'm just curious if he's calls himself Thunderfoot. He's sometimes follows these things. He'll give you a different slant on it. Sure, if he's actually I don't see anything there. He usually does SpaceX Starship. This is all completely new, so I was a bit worried that they said the launch is into 5 and then they said they're starting at 4, 1 hour before, and I thought, well, that might be that they'll talk a lot of silly stuff and say how wonderful they all are and things like that for an hour, but we'll just have to get some experience. I just need to get some experience with this live stream and adjust my approach accordingly. So yeah, as I was saying, you can just go to the Blue Origins website and watch it there. You can go to the Blue Origins channel on YouTube, watch it there. You can go to people who like to, you know, sell coffee mugs and stuff like that, like Everyday Astronaut or NASASpaceflight. There's people like that. There's a whole number of others that do it. Some of them have been running all day already. Actually, I should have checked. My voice sounds a little bit low, doesn't it? That's curious. Why would that be happening? My voice sounded a bit low there. My voice sounded a bit low. It should be a bit better. Yeah, it's dropped. The output on my voice has dropped. Don't know why. Something, probably there's a loop somewhere. I don't really want to put the gain up too high. I thought it was quite loud earlier. Yeah, it seemed a little soft when I heard it then. Hang on, let's see if that's improved things. It's probably okay. I better turn it back down to what it was. So I'm listening to headphones and I've turned the headphones down, so that maybe that's what's happening. As long as yeah, I better look at where it was before. Let's start changing things now. I'm gonna make a mistake. Turn that one down slightly. I'll just have to go by what the gauges are saying. It's obviously I'm not hearing reality through my headphones. Yeah, so you know, people like Everyday Astronaut, NASASpaceflight, and I threw in Thunderfoot there as well. He's a skeptic that I've been following on YouTube a long time. He certainly speaks his mind, but perhaps he's not on tonight. All right, I better check that message. Because there's nothing else happening, otherwise I'll probably just ignore it. I'll just mute my headphones. So I ordered some food, and the food place is subcontracting its delivery to somebody else. I won't say who. I definitely got my food. I put it in the fridge. I can eat it later. I'm on a diet, so I have to be disciplined. Now I'm getting all these messages saying that they can't find me, but clearly they did. So I got a receipt. It's got my name on it, and I've got the food that I ordered quite happily in the fridge. So I think I'm going to ignore that one. Perhaps if they keep messaging me, I'll just switch the phone off. I'm over it. Yeah, okay. I think this has priority, don't you think? All right, where was I? Yeah, sorry about all this. I expected it would we might be put on hold. Yeah, I've got no way of estimating when things are going to fix themselves up, which is a bit unfortunate. Another thing, well, I'll be the VOD. My VOD will be coming out, so you can always look at the VOD. It's good that I check the VOD and see what's going on myself. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is the first time, so I kind of know what's going to happen with SpaceX, but these guys, I have no idea what's going to happen. So anyway, I switched it on at the time they said they were starting, so all they've done is given us elevator music. So there goes another message. another message. Unbelievable. Well, it's now saying my order was delivered. Well, thanks for clearing that up for me. Like, I ignored them and they sorted themselves out. Because sometimes if you try to be helpful, it just confuses everybody. So if the problem's at their end, I usually wait a while before I respond. I am a helpful person, but you know, sometimes helping can make things worse, so I give them a little bit of time to sort the shit out themselves. It's great. I'm going to be thinking about food for the next 2 hours. Oh well, that's I gotta learn this. Gotta learn this. It's the only way this is going to work, I think. All right. So okay, let's just switch the elevator music off for a second. Let's go to the other one. Okay, I'm just wondering if there's any other information that they were providing, like trajectories or stuff like that. Mission updates. Yeah, la-di-da. Okay, doesn't seem to be anything too exciting here. Oh, there. Sorry. I'll take that back. Sorry, switch that off because I hate things videos that start playing automatically. That's very, very rude, and it uses up your bandwidth for nothing. Here we go. We've got a nice diagram here. Okay, I can talk about this diagram. I can talk about a diagram. All right. So yeah. So it's not a return to launch site. So they're not attempting to recover the booster directly like SpaceX has been doing with its Mechazilla thing. This is just it's a partially reusable rocket, so they're at least trying to recover the booster, but they're trying to recover it on a barge. So they're following the sort of sort of like the some of the Falcons. SpaceX Falcon flights are like this. Okay, so we're launching from it's Cape Canaveral, I think. Launch Complex 36. Yeah, I think that's Cape Canaveral. So they're on the edge of the Atlantic there, and what they're doing is they the boost phase occurs till they're high enough, and they'll this will be at there'll be a stage separation here, and then what'll happen is the booster will do a flip maneuver, but notice they're not calling it a flip maneuver, probably because SpaceX calls theirs a flip maneuver. So they're just calling it a reorient maneuver. It'll have to do, I believe it's going to do a re-entry burn, so they'll have a burn. The burn also helps with them getting it into the right onto the right trajectory as well. So they'll do one re-entry burn, I believe. They'll come down and then they'll do the braking burn. People call it a suicide burn, but nobody likes that term much. But it is a suicide burn because if it goes wrong, crash. Anyway, I'm sure there'll be nobody on the barge at the time that they land the booster on it. They'll do it. They'll run that. They'll have a ship standing off and they'll run it remotely. Would be my guess there. Yeah, so that'll allow them to recover the booster. Meanwhile, the second stage will continue on to orbit. And unlike SpaceX, they're actually doing something useful with the rocket. Hasn't got a banana in it or anything like that. So that it's actually a commercial mission. So it's a bit different in that respect. It's been one of my quibbles about SpaceX Starship. You know, it's an empty ship. You know, at least put a dummy cabin or something in it. But anyway, I guess I'll get there eventually. So this is actually it's looking like a commercial flight. So they're actually going to put a payload, a spacecraft into orbit. And it's actually quite a high orbit too. It's an inclined orbit. The orbit's got a low point of 2,400 kilometers and a high point of 300 kilometers. So that's pretty high up. That's not a low Earth orbit, but that fits in with the profile, because I think they're pitching. The market they're after is not necessarily the low Earth orbit market. They're sort of aiming for a mid-Earth orbit or even a geostationary orbit, which takes is a lot higher and takes a lot more energy to get there. So it's probably more like a Falcon Heavy launch. That's when they take the Falcon 9 and put on a couple of boosters on it. Yeah, so that'll be good. That'll be interesting. Oh yeah, they called it a medium Earth orbit. So there you go. So it's not hard to understand. The rule of thumb is the higher the orbit is, the bigger the rocket, or the more fuel you got to burn. It's just the way it is, because you got to go up higher. So we got some. Sorry, we got some talk.
Baby girl just a couple months back, and
oh boy,
I feel like I'm back for the birth of my my other
talking
baby
all right.
back
Okay,
here, New Glenn.
this is called filling dead air, but that's okay. Let's have a bit of a listen to what they got to say, and I'll shut up for a minute.
Deep appreciation for the incredible work of the firefighters and emergency workers battling these fires and caring for so many people. We at Blue actually have a few hundred employees in the great state of California, many at the center of it all.
We are Team Blue, and our hearts are with you during this difficult time.
Well said. Now, with that, let's turn our attention to the star of the show today, New Glenn, standing proud on the launch tower just a few miles away at Launch Complex 36.
There it is, standing tall. And you know, we've got plenty of cameras all around the pad, so we're going to get some great views today.
That rocket looks good.
It
all
really
right.
does.
Why don't you start, Denise, by giving us a tour
I had to
of the
admit
vehicle.
Well,
it looks better than Starship. Starship looks like it was sort of welded together in somebody's backyard.
Speaking of reusability, let's look at
it's a lot prettier, and they paint it.
Section there of New Glenn. One of the things
I'm joking,
that
of course.
is critical to New Glenn, of course, because it's a reusable vehicle, is the landing gear that's housed in the aft section there.
So there's actually 6 landing legs on that aft section, and they're actually going to deploy right before it lands.
And unlike New Shepard, our suborbital vehicle, New Glenn's booster is going to land out at sea.
New Glenn is going to launch vertically here at the Cape. It'll then arc over the Atlantic on its way to orbit. The first stage is then going to maneuver its way back to Earth onto a landing platform that's actually positioned in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, the first stage booster is powered by 7 BE-4 engines, and these are really powerful engines.
They certainly are.
Capable of over 500,000 pounds of thrust each. So when we combine
Big numbers.
all 7, we're talking about a launch vehicle with a thrust at liftoff of nearly 4 million pounds.
3.85 million to be exact. Got to make sure.
Got to convert for the metric people.
Call us out. Got to get the sig figs right. But that's just the first stage. And as the first stage is busy landing back on Earth, meanwhile, the second stage is going to continue into orbit. And just for a quick intro for those that are not, really into rockets, when we talk about stages, basically what we're doing is we stack one rocket on top of the other. Stage 1, stage 2. Stage 2 is the bottom. Stage 1 is the stage 1 is the bottom. Stage 2.
Yeah, sorry, I've got to take a slip to you occasionally. You'll probably hear it. I need a new microphone.
What's really unique about the second stage is that it's powered by 2 BE-3Us. Now,
I promise never to eat, though. I'm live on air. I think that's a bit. That's poor manners.
And then, of course, there's the crown of the vehicle, if you will, the payload fairing on top.
Yep, that's my favorite part, the payload fairing. It sits right on top of that second stage, and it's really a protective cover that takes care of our payload on its way to space. But it's really what's inside the fairing that's at the heart of every New Glenn mission.
That's right. So every rocket launch is about sending something to space, and today's launch is no different. For this first mission, that payload is a pathfinder for another Blue Ring program, Blue Ring. It happens to be very near and dear to my heart because it's the program that I help lead. But before we get too deep into that, I am thrilled to say that we've got a couple other faces to meet this evening that are going to be bringing us all the action. So first, I would like to bring in my teammate Maggie McNeese from our government team in DC. She's standing near mission control now. Maggie, you there?
Hey, Ariane. Hey, Denise. We really doing this?
This is happening. We are definitely here at launch day.
Oh, that was a strange thing to say.
We are down here. Why don't you situate us to where you are standing up there? What's going on? What is the vibe up there?
The vibes are impeccable. I am here by mission control. Right down the hallway, as you said before, we've got our launch control. In these rooms are our engineering teams and operators who are going to go ahead and be, looking at all of that data coming off the vehicles. They're going to give us our best chance of success today.
Now, we've got a pretty special assignment for you there, Maggie. We're going to have you reporting right up there through the launch to keep us plugged in behind the scenes.
Okay, yeah, they're going to, all this stuff is fine. It's because it's promotional for the company. I get it and all that, but they are going to talk a lot. So you've probably got an alternative here. I'm going to sit and listen to it. So I don't mind, but I reckon if you could come back at 5 p.m. Australian time, Australian East Coast Daylight Saving Time, Australia has 3 time zones, I've got to remember that, you might be a bit closer to the launch. So whatever you're doing with yourself, I think you got time to go and get a cuppa and then come back, and I don't think you're going to miss a huge amount of stuff. Otherwise, the other unfortunate thing is these launches are at night, so that's going to restrict what we see as well. But okay, let's see what the fans are saying.
Pandemonium here. New Glenn is perfectly viewed in the distance, and we are here to support.
Remember, it is autumn over there. Even in Florida, it can get a little cool at night.
This is really an exciting moment for Team Blue.
Eddie, now you're a familiar face across Blue Origin. You've got a front row seat at Blue watching this rocket go from design to build to test. What's going through your head right now?
You know, it's a collective sense of anticipation. Everyone here has done everything that they need
I like
to
the
do to the best of their
model
ability.
rocket there.
Their family members have sacrificed for them to be here at this moment at New Glenn 1. And we have one proposal. Let's send it. Let's light this candle. Let's send New Glenn to space. Let's send Blue Ring on its mission. This team is hyped.
Oh, look, honestly, I'd love to be there. I really would.
You
have no idea.
Collaborated on. I understand all.
It looks a little corny, but hey, you know, you enjoy yourself.
So signing space hardware is a tradition at Blue. From the New Shepard propulsion module panels to the crew capsule base heat shield, those engines on New Glenn have our signatures. Now the nice thing about those 7-meter fairings that are over 60 feet tall is that it can fit the signatures of more than 10,000 employees that currently call Blue Origin home. And so that's what we're sending to space in addition to the hardware. And this team right here, they made it happen.
Well, thank you, Eddie. Can't wait to check in with you again shortly. You keep the Team Blue pumped down that, but I have a feeling you're not going to have too many troubles. No. They seem pretty psyched.
We're psyched to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Well, I look forward to what both Eddie and Maggie can bring to the show. Let's take a little deeper dive into the mission today.
So there is a lot. Right now, we are tracking a number of technical milestones between now and liftoff, and then there's going to be another set of critical in-flight milestones once we're underway. Now, we do want to be very clear about our objectives today. This is New Glenn's first flight, and we prepared rigorously for it.
The way she's speaking, you can tell that it's scripted.
Well put. Our key objective
what if something unusual happens and they go off the script, you can usually tell straight away. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. They're doing their job. It's public relations, but they are following the script.
The first try offshore in the Atlantic is ambitious, but you can't win if you don't try, and we are going for it tonight. And no matter what happens, we are going to learn.
Well, it's a very expensive satellite they're launching by the looks of it.
Both, of course, in the design of the vehicle,
somebody's insured it.
And about that booster, again, yes, we are going for it. New Shepard landed on only its second attempt in November of 2015. I happened to be on the ground for that in West Texas back in the day, and it was wild. And man, I can't wait to see if we can make some more history here with New Glenn, which our booster today has been named with a pretty cool name. You wanna tell us that?
Sure is. Our booster's named So You're Telling Me There's a Chance.
Classic 90s movie reference there for all you Jim Carrey fans. But let's level set here. You think we're gonna stick the landing? Like if you were a betting lady in Las Vegas this evening?
So we think it's possible. You know, the truth is that this is an enormous goal. We're trying to land a giant building-sized vehicle that's plummeting down from space. There's just so much complex engineering that goes into this.
Yeah, well, they got they got a hard act to follow with SpaceX, don't they?
Let's put it to work. We'll see how it performs. But hey, no matter what happens, we're going to learn a ton, get loads of data, and apply it to NG-2 and beyond. Now, that said, if we land this thing, I'm going to lose my mind.
You and me both.
Okay, good. Just setting expectations for everybody on this one. Now, some other business to discuss this evening is the payload we have on board. We have early technology demonstration on board for Blue Ring. And
okay. It's not a commercial flight. I thought it was Blue Ring. All right.
I help lead here at Blue Origin. There it is on the left.
Maybe
side
that fairing is looking a little bit empty, actually.
Nice,
to be quite honest.
Ready to go in the payload fairing.
Very roomy.
To be clear, what you're looking at, this is not Blue Ring itself. This is not the
right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I was wondering about that.
The Blue Ring vehicle. And so,
it seemed a little risky.
The vehicle,
okay, it's not a commercial payload. It's a demonstration.
A lot of the same technologies and capabilities that are put in that vehicle that you see on the left of your screen. And today we are going to validate the communication capabilities from orbit to the ground. Now, it's also worth noting that today's payload is non-separating. So it's going to actually stay attached to the second stage throughout the mission as it powers on and it begins collecting data. For the broader system we're building, for the Blue Ring itself, you can think of Blue Ring as a utility vehicle, a multi-tool, or kind of a mobile service station that we can use to run errands around the solar system. Today, on this mission, it's a super cool pathfinder for that vehicle that will be flying. We have some exciting details to share a little later on. We're going to get way in depth on the exact technology that we're testing today, as well as Blue Ring. But I'll tell you right now, I'm super excited about not just the launch, but the payload, and for both, you know, the New Glenn team and the Blue Ring team. So much work has come together today. And that's why today is such a big deal. We're going to be laying the foundation.
Yeah, well, what we're missing at the moment is a countdown, you noticed. That concerns me. Okay, we don't seem to have a countdown yet. All right, I'm sure one will appear at some point.
Like a significant amount of data, no matter what happens. And from our perspective, the way I like to put it, data is the currency of success. The more data we have, the better off we are. The longer we fly, the more data we collect, the more we can crunch
She's
on, so
definitely running,
let's
fill in the dead air script. Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. And that data is really going to be critical for our engineers and our ability to evolve New Glenn into a fully operational program. You know,
Maybe just
check
back
and we've sent over 40
occasionally
astronauts
until we actually get a
And while we
countdown,
consider that system
so we'll know
fully
how far we are
operational,
actually
that
away
flight
from the
data that we
launch.
get after every mission
Because the
helps our
launch window
engineers
itself is
fine-tune
about
the
3
system. It
hours,
helps us
3 hours long,
refine
I
our
think.
procedures, reduce the overall time
I was just trying to think of,
and
you know,
perhaps
just giving
most
some
important of
hints.
all,
I've sat through a lot of
significantly
these things
drives down the cost of
before, and
spaceflight.
And we have learned
yeah, I'm
so
just,
much.
you know,
as New
it's
Shepard has
interesting.
progressed. By the
that,
way,
you know,
those learnings
trying
all
to
come into
use people's
play
time
on
efficiently.
New Glenn.
I've
We've
always
integrated a
just
lot
watch
of
the highlights on the
design
news,
and
I guess.
operational
I'm
lessons
getting
New
vibes
Glenn,
right now that we
excuse me,
might
from
be
New
in for
Shepard
the long
into
haul
New Glenn.
tonight.
So, and speaking of lessons learned from New Shepard, there's that recurring Blue Origin theme of reusability. New Shepard has, with its booster, of course, one that lands, right? New Glenn, the same deal. But let's point out one big difference. New Shepard lands on a landing pad in the desert, while New Glenn's landing pad is out in the Atlantic Ocean. I should take a moment to note, you know, the ocean, the seas out there have been quite rough for the last several days. So, you know, that is why we took a little bit of extra time to get a really good chance of landing this booster tonight.
High
So
seas,
a big
yeah.
kudos to our team that is out there operating the Jacqueline. They have been rocking and rolling at
The
waves out there for several
SpaceX
days, but
Starship launch
things
has
are gonna
been
get,
delayed a
exciting
couple
this
of times as well, so
now,
it's
a key piece of
now
this
in a
landing
day or
system
two.
is the landing ship, which we call the Jacqueline. You want to tell us a little bit more about the Jacqueline?
Would love to. So we've actually named our landing platform after a very special Blue Origin family member, the Jacqueline. It's right now out at sea, a couple of 100 miles from Cape Canaveral, and the crew that's operating the Jacqueline is actually positioned nearby in a different support vessel.
That seems prudent, doesn't it?
It does.
Just saying.
We're also
Yeah, it's
there it
basically
is.
a
And we also
a
have
floating.
lot
Well,
of
you can't really
cameras
call it a
on our
launch
ship today,
pad.
so we expect
It's
to
a
be
landing
able to
pad, but it's a
watch
floating
it
landing
live as
pad.
our booster touches down, and that's just going to be so cool.
Quite
Yes,
quite
it is gonna be
remarkable.
such
Quite
a pivotal
remarkable.
moment. Our first landing attempt for this rocket. We have got to make sure that that gets captured regardless of what happens. And there's a live shot, a beautiful landing pad there with our Blue Origin feather, just waiting to
It would have
welcome home a rocket from
stabilizers on it too to try to
And
keep it
after that
level in the
booster lands on
waves,
the
but
Jacqueline,
you
the
know they're
vessel
only
is
so
gonna
good if
transport the
there's
booster
too
back
many
to our
waves, it's going to be
facilities here at
rocking
Rocket
around.
Park. We're going to do an inspection
Which is what the
for
problem
flying
was when they had the
again, and
high
this is, of
seas. But
course,
it's
very
the high seas are
important because
abated somewhat,
This thing is
but
2V4.
that looks pretty
Reusable
steady.
vehicles are how we will
Look at the
radically
lights
reduce
and
the
let's see if
cost
they're
of
moving.
access to space.
I can't see anything
Now, I hope
moving,
you're all
so
out there getting a sense?
Although, you know,
today's launch.
you'd need something on the horizon to figure it out. But I'd say it's got stabilizers on it.
The sea-based systems, and of course,
I'm guessing that the engineering details, by the way, I don't know, but I think it's likely.
That are working hard to get us to our launch. Now, let's take a moment and toss to New Glenn on the pad as we make our way towards the very first orbital flight for Blue Origin.
The sound of pumps. Hey, there we go. 40 minutes. I knew it. I knew it. All right. So, yeah, we're in for the long haul. I'll be here. You know, I might have to go get another cup of tea or something, but I'll be here. Launches, everything. Usually an awful lot happens in the first 5 to 10 minutes. If you want to know how the how this live stream's gonna progress, then the orbit. I can't even guess how long the orbit phase is going to take with this one, and whether there's anything else that they will show after that. I guess I'm just getting experience. See, I know what SpaceX Starship does because it's a particular suborbital trajectory into the Indian Ocean. Things, you know how long things are going to take, but this is all guesswork with me. But yeah, so you'll probably see most of everything you'll like to see in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then after that you have to decide if you're going to wait to see anything else that's going on. Yeah. Well, I'll be here.
Welcome back, everybody. We are
I'm
officially
blocked out this evening to do this.
And 57 seconds to go until launch.
Well, I thought I'd have to go rescue my food at one stage. They have a tendency to deliver it to the wrong address.
A little bit. That's just our teams getting aligned and making sure that by the time we get down to 0, everybody's set and ready to go. But talking about ready to go, Denise.
Pax, yeah, let's go in 40 minutes time.
Absolutely. Yep. So our team has already completed fueling up New Glenn's propellant tanks for both our first stage and our second stage. We are now entering the next step, which is called propellant conditioning. This is, of course, a crucial step because we need to make sure that those propellants are at the right temperatures and at the right pressure.
Yeah, they've also got to chill the valves and pumps and things down so they don't shatter.
From our first stage and our second
Some of that fuel's very cold.
Our cryogenic propellants are so cold that they're experiencing something called a boil-off. So we are venting all that excess gas to prevent buildup and overpressurization. You may have also noticed on your screen that we have the flame stacks, or what we lovingly call the tiki torches. That's there as a safety mechanism to make sure that we are burning all that flammable oxygen and hydrogen, protecting New Glenn and our launch pad. So that is where we are right now. We'll keep tracking progress as we make our way to terminal count.
Thank you very much. We will look forward to the next update on the team and the rocket there. Now, we mentioned that we're sitting in the rocket factory here. Blue Origin's mission control is right upstairs, right above our head. And we're very close to where the rocket is itself. So maybe if you zoom out a little bit, Denise, you can give us a sense from a geography-wise where we're sitting.
We are super close. So behind me, I have a map of Florida. You can see very clearly here we have Merritt Island and Cape Canaveral. If you go ahead and zoom in, I'll show you where we are right now. We are right now at Blue Origin's Rocket Park. This is where New Glenn is built, integrated, tested.
That's where she is, I think.
And just a short
38 is over here.
We have
okay, it is Cape Canaveral.
Where New Glenn is standing
Space Force Station.
For its first launch. You just heard from Eddie and a few of our employees.
So if everyone's always thinking about Kennedy. Kennedy is further north.
Or anywhere up, down, Cocoa
It's a
Beach,
big area. It's a big area.
View of the New Glenn launch tonight. So that's the lay of the land here. It just really.
I'm just going to have a quick look.
The full operation of New Glenn is nearby.
Just let me. I was just looking for. I was looking for Thunderfoot again. Because I know the other, I know these other people are there, NASASpaceflight and stuff like that. I was just more interested in Thunderfoot. Probably not. He tends to do, yeah, he tends to do SpaceX stuff, and he gets an interesting chat going. But he's a bit of a cheeky man. He doesn't care for Elon Musk at all, and he shows it. Yeah, all right. I don't think he's on.
This one for New Glenn may be one of the loudest ever. For one,
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about SpaceX. Don't worry, I'll talk plenty about them when I do my SpaceX stream in a couple of days' time with a bit of luck.
For years, and I cannot wait. As a
lot to say
California
there.
girl who has lived through a couple of earthquakes, I am ready for this one. This is going to be awesome.
What?
Now, you mentioned a second ago, it's just so unique that the public is going to get such a great view of New Glenn launches, especially from viewpoints like, Jetty Park, Port Canaveral, Cocoa Beach. So many people gather to watch launches from these spots already.
Yeah,
and
very keen out in the middle of the night.
This is a live view. If you're
I'd rather be
sitting
seeing
there
it
right
in the
now,
day,
Cocoa
though.
Beach, shout out to you guys. You're probably sitting in a nice lawn chair with a cold beverage in your hand. That's what I'd be doing if I weren't here behind the desk with you, Denise. You guys are going to get
beverage
to see
in autumn.
and feel this launch
How
with
about
an
a warm
insane view.
beverage?
So, other than maybe tripping some tsunami warnings, y'all are going to have a great evening.
There really is nothing better than a beachside rocket launch.
Well, and weather permitting, it's not just people down here in Florida. People in the region, kind of the southeast region of the U.S. You see this image right here. Look, that's going all the way as far north as North Carolina. Several states north are going to be able to see this launch during different phases of flight based on where you are. So a little bit of a guide here. If you guys are all still up, it's a bit late here on the East Coast, but this is an exciting launch. So shout out to you guys as well that are watching live from the East Coast. All right, everybody, we're at T-minus 33 minutes and 30 seconds to go and counting down to our launch window opening at T-minus 0 for New Glenn's first launch. Denise, I cannot believe I'm saying that. We've been talking about this such a long time. It's just wild.
I think
Now,
they
again, this is our first flight. We have prepared rigorously for it, but I want to reiterate.
So yeah, I think it was the one of the Orion launches that NASA were doing the live streaming, and they were very thoughtful. They had two channels. They had one where they had the people filling up the dead air like this one, and they had another channel where they had nothing, no commentators. They just had the technical call outs or something. I thought that was brilliant. If I was sitting here listening to it by myself, I'd rather that, I think. The technical details and all that are interesting, but you can go and look those up at any time. So I thought that was always a nice touch of the old. I've got a bit of a soft spot for the old NASA.
Give our audience a sense of what sets this vehicle, New Glenn, apart from other launch vehicles, both past and present.
Well, to start, it's just massive. Just over 320
It is
feet
big.
tall,
It
or
doesn't look that
98
big,
meters.
but
And just think
it's a
about
trick
that.
of the
That's like a
perspective, I think. It's
30-story
big.
building. It's really hard to describe what that means, but another way to think about it, we all know and
I think
love
the old
Picture
Saturn
five New
V
Shepherds
looked large
stacked
because of its
one
shape,
on
I
top
think.
of the other, and that's approximately the height of New
Saturn V, the
And
Apollo,
that's
always just
remarkable,
looked huge.
when you think about that jump
Right.
from New Shepard
Was up.
to New Glenn.
30 minutes to
So
go
there you go. You
to the launch.
this
So
great image on our
we're gonna have
screen here
to
that gives you a
listen
sense.
to the ladies
That's,
talking about
that's
stuff
we talk
for
about step-by-step
at least
process. That
another
is
30
that's
minutes
a
or
big
so.
old
So
step
there's
we're
no
taking.
hurry.
It's also amazing to think that New
Plenty
Shepard
time to
technically
go get
could fit as
a cup of
payload
tea or
right
something.
inside of New Glenn's fairing with room to spare on the sides.
And as fun as that would be, We don't really need to ship New Shepard off to another planet anytime soon, as far as we can imagine. Although that would be a pretty cool, sneaky, you know, third and fourth stage. If you count
Oh, I've
that
had a few
capsule in
likes.
there.
Oh, thank you very
But
much.
that
Whoever
said,
left
we
me
make
some
this
likes.
point because it speaks to future capabilities. Like
It helps my channel, and it's just
other
nice to
large
see
vehicles that are
some
similar in size to New
feedback
Shepard.
as well.
You know, it
Even
is,
if you dislike it, go ahead and
incredible
dislike it.
that
I don't have a
varying
problem with that.
volume and the
If
size
I
and what
received a
it's
lot
going
of
to enable as
dislikes,
we build this road to
I'd
space.
know I've got an issue, and
Now, it's not often that you get
need to look
stand
at something.
next
So
to a massive rocket
you
like
should
that
never be afraid of
on a launch
dislikes.
pad, ready to go to space.
If
But you and I had an amazing opportunity. This
you know,
was just a day or two ago.
a dislike doesn't hurt me. I mean,
And I don't know,
what hurts me is no
I've been
interaction
looking
at
this
all.
video
That
and I
hurts
get
me, but
tingles. It
a
was
dislike doesn't hurt me. The algorithm doesn't
incredible to
care.
be at the base and
If you had a video
looking at
that
what our
everybody
team
was
has worked on
disliking
for
it, it
such
would
a
start
long time. There's
recommending
the
it to other
flame
people.
trench,
So, because
smoke
then
and
those
fire,
people are
baby. That's what
interested
we're
in
looking for
enough in
tonight.
it to dislike it, if you know what I mean. So,
I mean, that was just
yeah.
so incredible.
So
It's
I'm,
not,
you know, an honest
something that I will
dislike is
likely forget
fine.
anytime soon. It's just so tall.
It's not going to hurt
when you're
me
standing right next to it.
much.
Well, that tall rocket is going to space tonight. And you all are going to be here to watch and cheer on with us. It's a big night. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that'll give you a key differences between a vehicle like New Glenn and others that have lifted off from this pad in the past. I think there's another key thing about New Glenn, and it really is that reusability aspect. So while the scale of New Glenn
It's just coming up
is
to 5
truly
o'clock
remarkable,
now,
I mean,
so
this rocket is built for big things.
sorry,
size, with an
5
incredible
p.m.
lift
my
capability.
time. So
But to do that in a way that's
they're about
using
30 minutes behind
reusable
schedule.
hardware, I think that for me
That's
is
not
the
too
biggest
bad.
innovation for New Glenn.
100%.
But they'll have
Reusability.
they'll have a
Such
couple
critical
of
component
technical holds
reducing
here
the
and there,
cost
just
of future access to space.
check everything's
You just
fine.
can't
They just
say
go
enough
through the
how
technical hold.
important
You know, what they
reusability
do
is.
is they just pause the countdown.
And so New Glenn also
As
has
a
that second
standard
stage
practice,
rocket, right?
so
We
it's
talked about
T
the first
minus
stage and the second stage, and, you know, rocket
28
fans
minutes.
know
There you
this,
go.
but
There's a
just
Saturn
like Saturn
5. See,
V or other
Saturn
big
5 just
launchers,
look
rockets fly
huge.
first
You know, I
stage
think
and
it's a
second
shape.
stage with the job of the
This
first
rocket
stage,
is
or
as big as a
sometimes
Saturn
called booster,
5.
to lift the vehicle from Earth up to space. The stages will then separate, and it's the second stage that powers our payload into orbit.
So here you see a
To be
cool,
honest,
again,
this
another cool
commentary is
overlay
better than what I
we
was
saw just a moment
expecting.
ago
So I
of
think it's worth
the
listening to.
Saturn V rocket. I mean, we are just about the same height, like, and the power of the two vehicles and the significance to be compared to that is amazing. And you know what? Our game plan, like Saturn V,
But the point about the Saturn V, it was actually a very complicated rocket because it had so many stages. It had 3 stages, plus a capsule, plus a command module, plus a lander. So it was still more complicated than these rockets are now. These rockets have got more sophisticated control systems and
6 miles as the crow flies,
you know,
to Launch Complex 36. We can see a great view of New Glenn standing 320 feet tall.
they're more
The two
advanced in that
vehicle access tower
aspect,
is one of the
but
largest water
they're not as
towers in the
complex
world,
as
and we
the
are ready.
Saturn
Aren't we ready,
V.
team?
Okay, not my eardrums, my eardrums. Look, I'm glad. I'd love to be out there. I'm glad they're all having a good time. It's a bit staged, but you know that's all right. It's better than something that's unstaged. You know, that's when things usually go wrong.
We're looking forward to the rumble of the BE-4 engine. We're gonna hear it. We're looking forward to the blue streak across the dark sky, and we've got, you know, the flags, the emblems, the swag.
He's not half reading
We're
from the
very proud to
teleprompter.
be here. We're very proud to be sharing this moment with our community. Right, the word that everybody keeps using tonight is grateful. How grateful we are to be here, how grateful we are for each other, and how grateful we are for the Space Coast that has accepted us.
So a lot of these folks
I
have
missed
day
that.
jobs here in the factory, and you're not far from us, but describe the view you're getting. How is it different from what people will see from here at Rocket Park?
Yeah, we've got an unencumbered view of the launch pad of New Glenn. We'll be able to see that arc as Blue Ring heads on its mission.
Well, I hope they're
very
out
excited
past
about
minimal
that. The
safe
air
distance.
is
You know, that's
electric
just the
here.
main thing.
We're just
Something
buzzing
goes
with
wrong.
excitement, and we're thrilled to be here, really.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous that you guys are going to get such a straight-on view of the
Yeah,
launch
yeah, well, I'm
pad.
jealous.
So, not complaining. Denise and I have a pretty great seat here, too, but thank you, Eddie. We'll be checking in back
Excellent.
soon with
Thank
you
you.
there again down at Cars
We've got
Park.
one more chant for you guys. We're going to get loud for you.
My eardrums. Don't fall asleep, like young lady. Yeah, they've installed the flight termination system and all that. They take a lot of work to ensure everybody's safety.
Call out to our program leader for New Glenn, Jarrett Jones. Jarrett has led the New Glenn program for years, and I'm very grateful to be able to call him a friend. He has a deep background in aerospace. There he is. And he's been instrumental through the build-up to today's launch. I mean, there you see him just a moment ago, and let's see.
Yeah, LG screens.
In launch control. Yes, he is there, kind of that first row, bottom left. There you go, checking in, got his eyes glued to his screen, talking to
you wonder why the panel manufacturers put branding on the back of their panels. You know why now.
Leading this program for a long time, and man, and you saw that image just a moment ago with him in front of the New Glenn. That was the day that we installed the 7 engines on New Glenn for the first time, and I'm pretty sure he is absolutely psyched. You also see the gentleman
Where's
in the
the
center of that front row
is that their
in the
Munchies
green
table?
sweatshirt. That is
You
Dave
got
Limp,
to
our
check out the
CEO,
Munchies table. If
who
they
joined us
don't have a good Munchies
about
table,
a year
you
ago,
got to
and
think that
man,
there's something
talk
wrong.
about sparking some
Yeah, I think that's a
fire. It
Munchies
has been
table
wonderful
there,
to
and there's
have him,
another
on
Munchies
the
table
team with
over
us,
there.
and he is
I'm pretty sure the
absolutely dialed
Munchies are
in.
pretty
And
important.
Last but not least, in between
Go and look
Jarrett
down on their desks and see if you
Dave,
can see any
Jeff
Munchies.
Bezos, our founder,
I
who,
think
of
I can
course,
spot some
has been thinking
Munchies
about
there.
this
So
day for many years.
all console
And,
jockeys
run
run off Munchies. I can assure you of that.
I wouldn't mind having a rocket launch on my birthday, but this man deserves it. So
This
much
guy's
patience,
probably watching
commitment,
past episodes of
passion for
Seinfeld
what
or
we're
something.
doing.
I
It's
joke,
just-
of course.
We are very lucky, Denise, to have such a
Oh, there we go,
leadership
there we go.
team here
Yeah, definitely
supporting
some
us
Munchies
at
there.
Blue as we go through all of these programs and getting them off and going. But at the middle of many of them and the core to making a lot of this work,
Actually,
that's why today is so important.
is my cursor even showing up
Okay,
on the
everybody,
screen?
we're at
Yeah, it's there.
T-minus 23
I had to switch it
minutes
on.
to go until launch. It is so great to have you all joining us for today's inaugural launch. We have folks tuning in from all over for this big day, and of course we had Eddie and the team down at Cars Park, but we also wanted to give a nod to...
Yeah, I've had 62 views so far, but that's, I think, people were just searching around. That's because I decided to do the do the right thing, and wow, they had all this stuff ready, don't they? Oh, that's Huntsville, Alabama, isn't it? Yeah, because people are dropping by looking for a stream, so that's why I put the details to all the different streams that are available. So I was trying to build up a little bit of goodwill there, because most people won't be looking for a stream like mine. So, you know, let's direct them to where they need to go. They need to go to find the stream that they want, and that just generates a little bit of goodwill for my channel. So don't think I'm totally mad by telling people other places they can go look. I did that quite deliberately.
Well, you can see.
Well, I'm not selling anybody t-shirts and coffee mugs, so I honestly don't care. I just do this sort of thing for a hobby.
I can't complain about our view from right here. We have got a pretty sweet spot here, but I do want to go upstairs to our co-host Maggie, who's up near Mission Control. Maggie, you there?
here, and I have found a new place to hang out.
Wow, all right. So I know that not only do you get to hang out in your mission control,
Oh, they've
but
moved
that
her, have
this
they?
car gives you a sense of how close we
I
are
don't
to
know
just
what's
being able to
going
go
on there.
outside on the deck there. Tell me about this view that you get and that some of our VIPs are going to get tonight.
Yep, I am out on the balcony. We are on the 3rd floor of our rocket factory. And just out there, you can see the red blinking light at the top of our tower. So the launch pad is right out there. And then just to my left here is the mission control team. So you know when that rocket goes up, they'll be turning their heads briefly to the right. So we're out here. We've got some guests, VIPs,
other
some of our
people.
Blue family
Oh yeah,
inside.
yeah. All right,
They're still
fair
in
enough.
there while it's warm, but I expect to see more and more people headed out here soon.
Oh, it doesn't look that cold.
Maggie,
To be
I know
honest,
you're able to also listen in on the radio with the team behind
she
you.
said she was
What
sort
are
of
some of the
government
things that you're
relations,
hearing?
didn't she? I'll have to pay
About this
attention when I
time in the
watch
count,
my
I'm
own
hearing
VOD
them
back.
going into their weather brief. They are making sure that everything is clear downrange. That's both the water and in the air. And I haven't heard anything thus far, Ariane.
Well, thank you, Maggie. So great to have you up there, keeping us
20
tuned into
minutes to
all
go.
the action.
Hang in there.
As
Hang
we
in
noted,
there.
we've got launch control and mission control right back to back. We'll be checking in again with you in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're at T-minus 19 minutes and 50 seconds to go until our targeted liftoff. So we're getting closer and closer, and we want to point out a few things coming up ahead in our countdown, because some of them actually come in a pretty quick sequence.
Yeah, so coming up, we're going to have a planned weather check. This is where our teams take one last look at the weather for launch today. This weather check validates that our trajectory is still on track, and the team will continue to close out.
Yes, they do
remaining
have
open items that could be
to
on their
allow for
dashboard.
crosswinds and
The
things.
very capable folks in launch control
Apparently,
upstairs will
a rocket that
undoubtedly
large.
be checking through closeouts over the next few minutes or so. And once we get through those, we'll start to go into some final vehicle checks. So if you want to walk us through those final vehicle checks.
Once we get to about T-4 terminal count, we're going to transition New Glenn into where our auto sequence begins. And the operation really becomes hands-off for our operators. We're going to be switching New Glenn to internal power, internal hydraulics, and things will move really quickly from there.
And then, as we approach the final moments, and just before we light the engines, there's this water
Hydraulics,
deluge.
eh?
It's a huge water deluge. This is going to
I
engulf
thought
the
everyone
flame trench
decided that electrics were
completely,
better than
which is going to
hydraulics.
protect our rocket
Okay.
from vibroacoustic and thermal loading.
I'm no engineer.
Finally, autopilot will be enabled. We'll flex the gimbaling engines, and then, well, ignition.
Game on, ignition. I cannot wait for that moment. So all of this is very exciting, even to just hear said out loud. I think there's also a very specific sequence for starting the first stage engines. And talk us through that, because it's not like they just all turn on at once. We got to be careful about how we sequence the
Okay, it's
engines.
just
Correct. So you might think that we ignite all seven
yeah, it's just
sequences
past
at once, but that's actually
it's just
not the
past
case. We do
midnight
something called a
on the east
staggered
coast of
start
the United
sequence.
States. It's going to be
Engines
dark
1,
the whole
4,
time.
and 7 will light first, followed by engines 2, 3, 5, and 6. Now, of course, these will happen in a very quick succession, but the staggering start really helps to decrease the sudden pressure on the whole system. There just truly is so much power in those BE4 engines. So staggering them creates a more smooth on-ramp for all that power.
Absolutely. And we talk a lot about the rocket, but you can't forget the ground systems
Yeah,
as
not
well,
like
right? So
blowing up
when
their
we
own
are
launch
essentially
pad like
protecting the rocket from the vibrations and all
SpaceX,
that power
did.
coming out of the engine, we're also protecting the launch
I saw that was a
itself,
major
right?
stuff up, you know.
You see from
Oh,
the
they
map that you
they
showed us
fixed
earlier
it, but
how
still, you
close
know.
we are to the water. The water table is just a couple
I saw some
of
pretty
feet
large chunks
below
of
the
concrete
launch
flying
pad.
through the air.
I should really talk. A lot of engineering went into the complete refurbishment of our launch complex, and so we want to take care of it. It's there for the long haul, but man, we got a big old powerful rocket. So this water deluge system is critical to both the rocket and the ground, the launch pad, the ground support equipment. Okay, We are at T-minus.
I think these things are
We have
called.
just had a clock update here. We are at T-minus 37 minutes and 20 seconds
Can't quite
to go
remember.
until launch.
Strafes
As we
or
mentioned,
strafes,
this
I think.
Kind of what we can expect from our team as they get aligned and ready to go
This
into launch
rocket's
today.
not
So they just need a
using
couple more minutes, and that's
grid
A-okay.
fins. It's using a sort
we
of
say this on the New Shepard webcast as well, which is
traditional
we
sort
have
of
spent years designing this
fin
rocket,
design.
and months building it and months going into designing this operation. If we need a
they've been
couple
working
more
on this thing
minutes
for years.
Or we press go on this thing.
Their
that is
development
A-okay
approach
with all of
is a
us.
bit different
So with
compared
that,
to
why don't we take
SpaceX.
a moment here to check out this beautiful New Glenn rocket on the pad, getting ready for its first mission to space ever.
I like it. It's a pretty rocket. It's a pretty rocket. Yeah, these things are more traditional sort of fins. I think I'd call them a fin, not a flap. Look, semantics, muchness. So they're getting very cold too. Clearly, might have some ice falling off it when it takes off. Yeah, I've decided that it's a pretty rocket. I like it. I like it. Oh, did the count just increase? I missed that. Sorry. Yeah, I had a feeling we're in for the long haul here. Okay, 35 minutes. Yeah, it increased. I was too busy admiring the lines of the rocket. I missed them increasing. Sneaky bastards, increasing the countdown there. Yeah, it might just freeze completely when they're doing checks and things. They call it a hold. Well, they're checking something. It's funny, you hardly ever see the people, but they're kind of hidden away, sort of probably somewhere safe, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's always what it means. I hardly ever see the people. Maybe it is all remotely controlled these days. By the looks, the wind's pretty mild. Can't see too much wind there. See, some of these towers are actually lightning rods. They learnt that the hard way when one of the Apollo missions got hit by lightning twice as it took off. They're really lucky to save the rocket, I reckon. Yeah, so these towers here are they're lightning rods. I know that. That's a water tower. Probably for the deluge system to cool the launch pad. I know these general technical details. Don't ask me the specifics. So you can ask me general questions. Be able to answer general questions on it.
33 minutes and 53 seconds to go until New Glenn's first launch. We are so happy to have you all joining us for this historic launch, both here in the U.S. and everywhere around the world. Denise, tell our audience, where are we up to in the preparation of our vehicle?
So right now we're completing a systems functional check for New Glenn, and this is critical because we're ensuring that all of our systems are operating nominally. We're going to verify propulsion,
gone on to
avionics, guidance, communications,
the more
and
talk
even safety
script,
systems.
I think.
Our engineers are also running diagnostics on all the BE4s and BE3Us. We're checking flight computers.
Oh, well, they've got to get it right.
Telemetry.
Got to get it right.
We're also going to do one final comm check. This is really crucial because we want to make sure that we're getting the right data between the rocket and the ground, as well as verifying the signal integrity. Now coming up, we're going to do one last weather check. This is where we get real-time data on wind speed, direction, temperature, humidity, cloud cover, lightning, even thunderstorms. Not just for the LC-36 pad, but we're also checking the weather where the Jacqueline is, so that she's ready to receive our booster. So that is where we are right now. Things are going to move quickly here.
Thanks, Denise. And yeah, we should reiterate again, the weather, we got to take into consideration the weather here, but also downrange where the landing ship is, the Jacqueline. We've mentioned it earlier. Of course, that was one of the reasons why we needed to take a little bit more time before getting to launch this evening. The sea state out there, it was a little rough. They were rocking and rolling. And we want to give our rocket the best chance of coming into land and sticking that landing on the Jacqueline. There is the Jacqueline ready to receive the first
Well,
stage
they've already
of
shown the
plans.
ship. They're showing it
Take
again.
Back home, refurbish it, put another payload on top, and go again. But again, we should reiterate some of our objectives for today. The primary objective is to go to space, go to orbit safely. That's number one. And if we happen to land this booster, as we mentioned before, there's going to be a lot of people.
Okay, they're downplaying expectations a little. Fair enough.
So stay tuned for that. Now, Denise, why don't you go through a little bit more of the flow down there? So the Blue Ring team is up in mission control right now, also surely tracking their own checklist as they make sure the Pathfinder payload is ready to go to launch as well.
Correct. Yeah. So upstairs at the MC, we'll have a launch control and mission
Okay, seeing we're
control.
not
So our
really
launch
missing.
team is the one that's doing
She's
all
almost
these
saying the
system
same
tests
thing
on
all
New
over
Glenn,
again.
while mission
Yeah, not really missing much there. The I'll just show you, if in case you're curious. Say to go to where's my friend? There he is. I'll just show it for a second because I don't have permission to show his stream. Okay, it won't. Okay, because I'm not logged in, so it won't show me any chat. YouTube, I hate you, but you can see how many people watching his stream, over 30,000 people. So you know his chat would be totally impossible. There's no way he'd be reading it. He might just pick out the occasional thing to read. So that's the comparison between my channel and one of the commercial people.
Attached to the second stage.
So you know,
just stay there as it.
Just look around and find something you like, because I think it's well worth watching, and it's nice to unless you're a real techhead like me, and I just go to the try to find a channel that's got no chat on it whatsoever, because I already know the details. I don't need to hear them again. I just want to hear the technical call outs and stuff, but we don't seem to have that. I couldn't find anything that looked like it was going to do that tonight. So you're stuck with me for now on this one. Okay,
Blue Ring allows you to do many different
we're
things
getting
with
get some
one vehicle.
advertising.
It's kind of like the Swiss Army knife of satellites. It does a lot, and it does it really well.
Blue Ring is part of building that base layer of infrastructure.
Don't even know what it is.
That we at Blue Origin talk about.
We've got a thing called
We
a
can
blue
take
ringed
up to 13
octopus.
customers up to space, up to 3 metric tons, deploy those satellites.
It's going to give them all the capability that they need to be able to be placed where they want, or they can use a lot of the
It's
capability
kind of like
inside of Blue Ring.
They can do data
It's almost like
storage,
a command
data
module.
computing, relaying the data.
And it's going to be a massive
A
asset.
bit of a
because
bit
it
of
now
a bit of a
allows all these
tug.
payload customers to
They could
offload
probably
all
move
of
things
their
around
data
and all
relay
sorts of
from
stuff.
critical processing
Interesting.
needs.
You've got space domain awareness. You've got communications capabilities.
So if
and
this
then
stuff's
you've
already
also got
built,
this ability
you don't have
host
to build
things
it when
on
you
Blue Ring
you
itself.
just plug it into the existing system, and
For
it should
customers who need
reduce the
orbit
cost of
maneuver,
your satellites
we can
down.
maneuver them between orbits,
Interesting.
within an orbit.
We can have
So this is the thing that they're going to
1,000
demonstrate
meters per second
in
of
this
delta
launch.
V with this vehicle, and in some
got an
configurations,
engine?
all the
Well,
way
that's a
up to
pretty big
4,000
engine,
meters
too.
per second. And it has dual propulsion systems, meaning that I can use the chemical systems
Interesting.
for really fast maneuvers, but then have electric propulsion for all of the station keeping and low
Got an
energy
ion
maneuvers.
drive too.
A lot of our work is going to be done in geostationary orbit for sure, but we've got capabilities to go out to cislunar orbits and interplanetary.
Blue Ring Pathfinder is going to be on our first
Let's
New Glenn
see,
flight, which is
sorry,
really
I
exciting.
This
didn't
first
forgot to go
mission
back to full screen.
demonstrates our space-to-ground interfaces. So it proves out that we can command our vehicle on orbit, can receive data from the vehicle.
We'll be testing out and demonstrating a lot of the capabilities that will be hosted on the Blue Ring vehicle as a whole.
We're building not just the transportation systems through New Glenn, but also the infrastructure that will help future generations take advantage of what space has to offer.
Blue
there's almost
is
nothing
going
in there.
to multiply what we
At
can
least,
do in
well, at
space
least they got a
and create
payload.
the infrastructure like
Starship had a
nothing else.
banana. Apparently, the next launch is going to be different. So anyway, I shouldn't talk too much about SpaceX. I'll wait till my live stream in a couple of days' time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, and then I can let loose on them
in
then.
my day job, Blue Ring is the team behind the first payload ever on New Glenn.
It is so cool. Thinking about
Okay,
the way a
it's
vehicle
almost
like
an
Blue
empty
Ring
rocket.
will open up access
Empty,
to space. I mean, that's really what it's
second
all about.
stage.
That key aspect of today's mission is that demo of space-to-ground communication capabilities for Blue Ring.
You got it. The Blue Ring Pathfinder will be testing its
It'll
ability
be interesting.
to
Blue Ring will be in
commands
orbit
to
for a
the
while then.
spacecraft,
It's a pretty
receive
high orbit they're
telemetry,
aiming for.
and edge processing software.
They
that
call
will
it a medium
demonstrate
Earth
local
orbit.
autonomy and machine learning that will be part of the storage and compute mission kit.
Oh,
that's
just
gonna be
don't say
flying all
AI.
future
Don't
Blue
say
Ring vehicles.
AI.
So basically, it has a computer predicting if the spacecraft is getting sick. We're also testing radiometric tracking, which, by the way, helps in navigation by using radio waves to track the spacecraft's position and velocity. So basically, radiometric tracking uses radio frequencies to track where the vehicle is and where it's going.
So Blue Ring is going to be very busy during this mission.
yeah.
It'll be sending and receiving data. It'll be tracking its
Well,
own
they did that
location
anyway, but
and processing
they
mission
must
data
have a novel
real-time. And
approach
all
to
of
it.
this will be communicated over RF to Atlas antennas stationed in Hawaii, the state of Georgia, and even Australia.
Yeah,
Even
these
Australia.
ground stations will collect telemetry and radiometric data, which is crucial for understanding how the spacecraft is performing
We're a little
and
bit
navigating
backward in
highly
Australia,
elliptical
that's for
orbits
sure.
in the MEO range.
Comes from
This is
being
unique
at the
because
arse end
it
of the
allows the
Earth.
spacecraft to spend a significant amount of time over specific areas of Earth, making it an ideal orbit for certain communication and observation missions. And this is all part of proving how Blue Ring can navigate. All the data collected from this mission will be used to support the future production.
Well, it's in
of
a
the Blue Ring
30-degree
space vehicle,
inclined
which
orbit.
undoubtedly will play a vital role.
Yeah, if you
in
wait long
further
enough, it'll
space exploration and
pass
communication
overhead.
technologies.
You might have to wait a
That data
while,
and
but
experience
it will
gained from this
do it
Pathfinder
eventually.
mission will be invaluable for our engineering team. It really does pave the way for more advanced missions. It helps ensure the reliability and the efficiency of future Blue Ring vehicles.
There you have it, folks. Now, Blue Ring Pathfinder is supported by the Department of Defense's Innovation Unit, or DIU. And let me tell you, we're so
Space
thankful
Force.
for their involvement today. I should say they have been so supportive of our Pathfinder, but just the Blue Ring program in general. They are believers like us. So thank you to them. All right, with that, we're at T-minus 24 minutes and 3 seconds to go until T-minus 0. This is NG-1, the first flight of New Glenn, and we are so glad you're here joining us this evening. Why don't we take a moment to talk about our mission objectives for the launch? This is our first
I
flight.
thought we'd already done
and we
that, but
prepared
anyway.
rigorously for it.
Yeah, there's a
But
little
we
bit of ice
also
build up
know
there.
that none of this
You'll see the ice fall
and
off
our
when
key
the
objective today
as long as it's
is
lit
to
up
reach
enough, you'll see the
orbit
ice
safely.
fall off when it launches.
Anything beyond that is
Some of it's
icing
falling
on the
off
cake,
now.
bonus points. We know that landing the booster on the first try
It just gets thicker and
offshore
thicker
is
and thicker until
ambitious,
it breaks off.
but we are going for it. No matter what happens today, we are going to learn, refine, and apply that knowledge to our next launch. We're really looking forward to seeing how the vehicle performs. As I said earlier, more data, the better, right? We pushed every single part, component, system in our testing well beyond its limits by design, but we also recognize that no amount of ground testing or mission simulations can replace the real-world conditions of flying this system into space, which is why we can't wait for the mission to get underway, see how things perform, and apply all the lessons learned to our next launch and beyond. It is an absolutely thrilling day. Again, we're so glad that you're here to share it with us. Now with that, we're at T-minus 22 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. Why don't we take a moment and check out New Glenn on the pad as it gets ready for its first launch to space today.
The sound of pumps. See if we can spot some people. No, they're probably all a long way away. They probably just connected everything up and then retreated to a minimum safe distance and just switched all the pumps on. It might be down in bunkers, various places. I mean, if this thing goes up, it'll go up big time. It's I think it's funny, they're calling it natural gas and oxygen, and SpaceX calls theirs methane and oxygen, but natural gas is got a lot of methane in it anyway. I'm gonna actually I'll write a note down. I need to find out what the difference is. Maybe it is what it is. It is natural gas, not methane.
T-minus 20 minutes and 50 seconds to go until New Glenn's first launch. What a day for us. And you know, it takes many smart people to bring a vehicle like New Glenn together. And one of those great people that I've had the pleasure of working with over several years is someone who now leads up customer integration for New Glenn. That is Blue Origin's Laura McGinnis. Laura is the Vice President of Mission Management for New Glenn.
The second stage is actually liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, so that's even more explosive.
Air Force, and I had the pleasure of chatting with her just a few
Needless to say,
if
the rocket ruptured, it would be a pretty big fireball.
Like New Glenn. Let's listen to that chat.
Laura, thank you for taking the time, especially on such an important day, to give us a tour of the factory. This is kind of like your second home, I imagine, for the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, Ariana. We're so excited about this factory.
Nice and clean
and
factory, isn't it?
To show you all a little bit about it.
Well, so talk to me a little bit about what we got going on here. We've got multiple rockets coming down the line.
Yeah, all kinds of things going on. So the basic layout is that the raw material comes in from the south side of the building down here at the end of the aisle.
Oh, they got a production line too.
We weld the tanks together down there. Then we bring the completed modules here for assembly. Over here we have our GS1 aft module, which will have landing legs, 7 BE4 engines installed. We do all of that work. We continue to assemble the stages down here. We build fairings. Behind the wall over here, our 7-meter fairing, which our customers love, and eventually we roll out the
7-meter
fairing,
yeah,
stage 2, and the
meters.
fairings out of the north end of the building. Those are all transported 8 miles over to Cape Canaveral Space Force Station and are assembled in our integration facility over there prior to launch.
And that's also, of course, where we integrate the payload as well. Just talking about customers a little bit.
Did that countdown just change again?
Customers been saying about what they're excited about.
Again, I was looking elsewhere, I didn't see it. I just noticed in the corner of my eye something change. I think it's gone up again. Okay, yeah, we're in for the long haul here.
Interest in the size of our payload fairing, both for kinds of things as well as large telescopes and large instruments. Commercial customers are thrilled about our capability of bringing many small spacecraft to LEO.
And we've already been doing some integration precisely with these customers. How has that process been going with our customers?
We know our customers make us better.
I think in future, what I'm going to do is,
different systems for years
yeah, I won't start when if they say they're going to start an hour early.
So that's kind of.
If they say they're going to start an hour early or something, I'll definitely just ignore that and probably start my stream That's if I do stream it again, if it's interesting enough. I'll start a lot closer to the estimated launch time. Yeah, because this is yeah, this probably isn't all that exciting, you know. Oh, it's interesting, but probably not exciting. People want to see a rocket launch, don't they? Because the SpaceX one was always half an hour. Starship I'm talking about, so they kept it pretty tight, actually, to be honest. I think I've sat through some Falcon 9 launches that just went on forever. But the Starship, they used to be pretty tight, and you know, they'd start talking about Mars and stuff, which I was never interested in because I think it's foolish. But anyway, I'll talk about that when I do that. Like, see, my mind wanders back to SpaceX.
Quick tour through our factory right behind.
You got to get my attention, Blue Origin. You got to get my attention here. Okay. Wow, another 30 minutes. Well, I can't stop now. I'll put some. I'll put in my VOD. That's a recording of the live stream that YouTube quite generously makes available. After it's processed it a little bit, I'll put in YouTube chapters. So I'll have to sit down and go through this all. The chapter's always popular. It'll just show where important things are happening and stuff like that. So quite often with my live streams, more people watch my VODs than watch anything else. So I've done fairly well out of some of the VODs. I'll put that down to the fact that I'll put in some very good YouTube chapters. Let people have a quick look through.
For this evening's launch.
You know, they don't want to sit there for hours and watch the whole thing. They just want to see the highlights. You know, the alternative is to me to actually do an edited version of the VOD, and I don't really want to do that. But putting in the YouTube chapters is a good compromise.
Of those BE-4 engines here in the studio very shortly. After liftoff, there are a number of important milestones in the flight that we'll be tracking. So
yeah, she mentioned that before.
A detailed look at what New Glenn's first flight is going to be like.
New Glenn lifts off. Launch complex
you gotta have your computer simulated flight, don't you?
7 BE-4 engines will ignite and propel the rocket upward with over 3.8 million pounds of thrust, or roughly 17,000 kilonewtons. The vehicle will quickly reach supersonic speeds as it climbs through the atmosphere. As the rocket ascends, it will encounter maximum aerodynamic pressure known as max Q at around 40,000 feet or 12 kilometers. This is the point at which the stress on the vehicle is at its highest. Around 3 minutes into the flight, the vehicle will turn off its engines, marking the end of the boost phase. Shortly after, the reusable first stage will separate and begin its journey back to Earth. 2 BE-3U engines on the second stage will ignite and propel it onward into orbit.
Reminds me of the Atlas.
The reusable booster reorients in the vacuum of space using its reaction control system.
Lip.
At 220,000 feet or 67 kilometers, it executes an exo-atmospheric deceleration burn using its center 3 engines. These engines
REENTRY
burn
burn
for maximum control of the booster. This burn slows the vehicle down before re-entering the atmosphere. As it descends, the booster's strakes and fins work together to slow it down and guide it autonomously back to Earth, landing on a vessel at sea. At around 9,000 feet, or just under 3,000 meters, the first stage begins its final landing burn.
Landing burn, suicide burn, braking burn.
Seconds, slowing the vehicle in preparation for the final descent. The 2 outer engines will turn off, and the center engine will execute the final controlled maneuver onto the landing platform.
Yeah, it's very much like a Falcon booster, isn't it?
The vessel will return to Cape Canaveral to prepare for its next mission.
Yeah, there's not going to be anybody on that barge.
Meanwhile, in space, the second stage will continue to power the payload towards its final orbit. At around 400,000 feet or 120 kilometers, the payload fairings will jettison. New Glenn will deliver an unprecedented range of payloads. Large satellites, dual payloads, orbital vehicles, large constellation dispensers, even moon landers destined to establish permanent human presence on the moon.
Yes, that's the one I want to see.
This is New Glenn. This is how we will build a road to space.
Interesting. Bit aspirational there, maybe, for the lunar stuff, because
So again,
you've got to do a lunar
please
insertion
see
burn.
What the mission
So
profile
you've got to
will be for
need
this
engines to
rocket
do
this
that.
evening, but I think what was really cool about that video as well is it gives you a sense of the future.
I believe
as
that
well,
the
in terms
the
of
space inside the
various
fairing is
vehicles that
bigger
we're
than
gonna
the
be able to
Falcon.
take on this
Actually, that's
rocket,
kind of
whether
something
it's
that was
a
holding
lot
the
of
Falcon
LEO
back a little bit.
satellites
Is
or a
the
lunar lander
the
or
fairings?
a
The fairing
massive
space was
geo
never that
payload,
large.
whatever it may be. I think that's one of the coolest things about this vehicle. It is very versatile, and it's the power of the vehicle matched with the volume of a 7-meter fairing that's going to allow this vehicle to be
They're pushing that, aren't they? Yeah, it's
for
their
Blue
selling
Origin
point,
as
I
well
think.
as our customers for years to come. So,
Well, you know,
beautiful
bigger
rocket on the
fairing.
pad there waiting. Its
You can
first
fit more
launch to
spaceship
space.
in there, and the customers are not so constrained trying to design their payload to fit inside a smaller fairing. So it all makes total sense from a commercial point of view. At the end of the day, somebody's got to pay. Everybody wants to get paid. So yeah, we just had a couple people join. I'll just say it again. Have a look, and if you're just here looking for something to watch, there's plenty to choose from. Just have a quick look at the description of my live feed. I've put in a couple of suggestions there of different programs, depending on what it is that you're after. So yeah, check it out, because what happens is people, you know, typed in, it might even recommend it to probably a bit. This stream will get recommended, or they search for it, so they're not necessarily looking for me, they're just looking for something. So I'm just trying to you know, promote a bit of goodwill for my channel there by being helpful. I was going to watch it anyway, so you know, I'm sitting here watching it. I don't usually watch the launches, not unless they're doing something special. Yeah, you got to admit they're not the most exciting thing on earth. And with Falcon, you know, sort of once you've seen one Falcon launch, you've seen them all, sort of thing as well. I don't always watch them. But this is something new, and trust me, that's a big rocket. That is a very, very big rocket. Probably they're getting these shots using a drone or a quadcopter. Say that's that shot's been taken with an engineering camera. It'll be stuck out in a pole somewhere. It looks like a fixed camera, doesn't it? The way it's panning down. Yeah, they have cameras everywhere. The ones that aren't sort of designed for viewers like us, they usually call them engineering cameras. Cameras are cheap these days. There'll be hundreds. That looks like a fixed shot. That's probably another camera. So there's some person sitting in a booth somewhere deciding what to show, is my guess. Looking at the different feeds and just editing them on the spot. Not like the olden days where they had to take their 16mm shots and then pull the film canister out of the camera and race it over to Kodak to get developed. "20 minutes. Yeah, we're in for the long haul." Wonder why they're doing it at night. I've never... I guess... Well, there's probably a reason, but it'd be nice to see it during the day. Well, they've even run out of things to talk about. Well, they've gone off to get a cuppa. That would make sense. To keep those vocal cords lubricated. Me, I'm sitting here trying not to think about the pizza that I got in the fridge. I'll go grab another cup of tea at about 10 minutes to. I'll just switch my mic off and put in a comment in the live chat and go and get another cup of tea. Let's hope there's no more delays. It looks like a thermal image, doesn't it? I have to wait till Scott Manley does. Scott Manley is a Scottish fellow. He is famous for covering making Kerbal Space Program videos, but he's actually got a degree in this stuff. So I was always interested to hear what he has to say. If he does any analysis on this stuff, and he is a disc jockey. He's been a disc jockey and stuff like that, so he talks very well. He lives in America now. He not in Scotland anymore. I'll have to see what he made a few comments about this flight, but I don't know if I've ever seen him do a live coverage of anything. I don't recall. Speaking of which, seeing that we don't have any chat, yeah, we've got spaceflight now. Let's just call it New Glenn launch. Yeah, there you go, came up anyway. Well, I'm an anonymous browser, so I don't care what you think about my search results. There we go, we've got Associated Press, Everyday Astronaut. That's one I recommend. I recommended people that I've listened to in the past. I mean, it wasn't that list wasn't exclusive or anything. I'm not saying that they're the better ones. I just wanted to suggest people that I watch myself. So Everyday Astronaut.
Welcome back, everybody. We're at T-minus
here we go.
45 seconds
we've got some
to go
talking
until launch here. An exciting evening for all of us here at Blue Origin. I'm so glad that you've joined us. Now, we have spoken about the wealth of experience in the New Glenn launch and mission control rooms upstairs, and I want to take it back to Maggie upstairs.
NASASpaceflight.
Who is standing by up there. Maggie, you with us?
Yep, Ariane, I am back at mission control, and as we make our way towards terminal count,
plenty
to
choose from.
Like
Gee, even Sky News.
Down, but the communications
anyway, shouldn't do too much of that. I don't really have permission.
Super hard to get us there.
I love it. They're in the zone. So, Maggie, I'd love for you to talk.
All right, so I'm going to grab a cuppa at 10 at T-minus 10 minutes.
Who's on console?
I'll just let it run. And remember to mute my mic and all that.
In the mission control center. So the mission control
I'm not getting much chat anyway, but that's cool. That's cool.
Launch control and engineering.
Just a couple of hellos so
team
far.
Is looking through data constantly. Now,
sometimes I do that myself. I don't even chat. I just say g'day from such and such. You know. Don't necessarily engage in the live chat on live feeds either. But I might just say hello. It helps the algorithm, you see.
From our New Shepard rocket. So Ben is a great example of how we take our flight pedigree from
Dijkstra,
and we're building it into New Glenn. Now Ben and I go way back. We worked on New Shepard together for quite a while, and I've had a chance to talk to him quite a bit this week. And I was asking him what his pre-launch traditions are and what he's bringing here.
Yeah, I thought they'd just sort of gone off to get a cuppa.
One, he sets
and they're
3
back.
alarms because he really does not want to miss his call. I have a feeling he didn't have to actually use all 3 of them today, but I'll ask him afterwards. And then he also sets little Post-it notes on the screens of his console mates so that they get a little funny note or a little encouraging thing from their launch director before they go. And then when we do terminal count, he will be doing his fist bumps with the entire team.
I love it. I know Ben is going to crush
it's been difficult.
Why don't you give us some other highlights? Who else is supporting Ben with launch control today?
Ben is supported by a
curious.
really large
It won't let
team,
me
and we're not going to have
change.
time to touch on them all, but a couple here. First, we have Ann Dickey. Ann is the assistant flight director, and shout out to New Shepard again. Ann comes from that program as well. Now, Ann has been working the integrated schedule all week long.
I don't know what's going to happen when I did that. It might blank the screen.
And after we launch successfully, she is going to get herself an ice cream cone, and I will be joining her. Next, we have Martin De La Torre. Martin is a ground
Yeah,
controller,
sorry, there's a
which
blank
means that
screen
he
there.
will
I knew
be,
that was going to
working
happen.
through all of the data and controls of our
It's,
ground system
T-minus
out there
10.
at the pad. So as complicated as we all know rockets can be, the systems that are working around it are equally as complicated. And so Martin has a tough job today.
That's strange, it wouldn't let
but
me,
we know he's working hard. His favorite quote is from Stephen Hawking, and so he's got heroes, I think, like the
Yeah,
rest
there's
of them.
some setting in the browser, but I
Next we have
haven't.
Stephen
Obviously, it's
Shelley.
reset itself
Now,
again.
again, you talked about the Jacqueline
Means
a little bit
I was-
earlier. That's
oh,
our
there you go.
offshore
Worked that
vessel,
time.
and
That's
Stephen Shelley is
strange.
our
That's
offshore
really odd.
recovery lead. So as we go through this
Oh.
whole process, the team
Ooh, I
and the
can move
launch
my
director,
cursor.
Ben,
There you go. Worked
constantly
that time.
checking in
Didn't
with
work the
Stephen
other time.
to make sure
How
that we
weird.
know that the barge is ready should we be
I'm
able
just
to land
typing
New
in a
Glenn.
message.
his launch day ritual is actually the same as Ben, another 3-alarm guy. So we'll be asking him as well. And then last but certainly not least,
yeah, that
we have
posted,
Megan
right.
Lewis. Now, Megan is one of our 2 primary
Oh.
launch controllers, which means that she has control authority over a lot of these major systems on New Glenn. Megan is from Utah, and in a very sweet story, Megan is actually wearing a bracelet today that her grandfather gave her grandmother with charms for every Apollo mission that he worked. So a really incredible legacy of
that's
spaceflight
sweet.
in that family, and they're bringing it to the Blue family. So just we're really proud of them today. Megan Lewis and team, led by Ben Dykstra, are getting it done.
I love it. Just some wonderful stories, and each one of them has their, their ritual. I'm glad that seems like their alarm system has worked, because yes, they are all on console and ready to rock and roll today. That's a good thing. So, hey, Maggie, stay plugged in up there for us, and we will keep checking back in with you. All right, everybody, we're at T-minus 11 minutes and 40 seconds to go until launch. Why don't we take a moment here and send it over to the pad and check in on New Glenn as it gets ready for its first launch to space today.
All right, I ran off and grabbed a couple, and they had a bit more to say there. Somebody might have even put it together for them on the spot. They're doing their job. They're doing their job. Alright, I'm about to mute my mic. I've really got to stretch my legs as well. Make sure I do this, then I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I know they're not going to launch before then.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We're at T-minus 27 minutes and 5 seconds to go until launch. You may have noticed that we've added some more time to the clock. As we mentioned before, this is just our teams getting aligned, making sure that each of the separate sub-teams have all gone through all of their checklists, make sure that everything is in the green, making sure that the weather here at the Cape and downrange, everything is within bounds. So again, if we need to add a couple more minutes, that is quite all right with us. But while we've got a little bit more time, I would like to check in with my colleague, Eddie Seifert, out there at Cars Park, where he's joined by Team Blue Origin, here our team that's based here in Florida. What you got going on down there, Eddie?
Yeah, hey Ariane, welcome back to the best seat in the house here at Cars Park. I'm with the Smith family. We're working at Blue Origin, and working on rockets is a family affair. I'm with father Mike Smith, son Corbin Smith, and granddaughter Elizabeth. Elizabeth, tell me, you've sent a postcard to space, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm back. I've noticed the counts jumped up again, and they're going back to the beach. Yeah, we're definitely in for the long haul on this one, unfortunately. Oh boy. Oh well, you know, there's always a chance that the mission will just get scrubbed completely. So I've followed quite a few launches, and this is just what you got to do. Unfortunately, big complicated machines. Lots can go wrong. Lots can go wrong. I just want to do a sound check. This is just what you got to do. Unfortunately, big complicated. Yeah, voice sounds all right there. Yeah, it's a slight problem with them interviewing children on live streams, but anyway, it's just me. So where do they flick back? Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's lovely, but you know.
Generations there, father-son pair working at Blue. I look forward to seeing that little firecracker, that little girl joining us in a couple of years here in the future. It just speaks to, you know, it takes years to build these rockets. And that's what we're here to do at Blue. We're here to build these rockets.
There's one other mission I think it had been going for 30 years or something.
Space, right?
She's right about that.
Children like her can
and
pick
finally
up the
getting to
torch
see it fly.
and build on top of that. We're setting forth.
They
so
probably,
that they can
it was
build
in
infrastructure
their
and
entire
stability.
career.
It's all for the benefit of Earth.
I think
Well,
that
with
was
that,
the
thanks, Eddie,
Roper
for checking
Clipper.
in with us.
It took a
We're at
long
T-minus
time
24
to
minutes and 10 seconds
get it to
go
launch.
until launch.
So I was
Let's
very
check out
happy to
New
see
Glenn
it
on the pad
launch.
as it gets ready for launch this evening.
Oh yeah, we're in for the long haul. Oh, definitely don't start. I'll start a bit closer to the advertised launch time next time. I think I can safely ignore all the preamble. If I ever do cover any future launches, there'd have to be something special about them, though, I think. Oh, another 23 minutes, at least. Really. I'll be saying stuff, and I'm going to eat a slice of pizza. And the ice is building up. Well, 120 views, average view duration 1 minute. That's basically what I was expecting. People just click on it, at least they're clicking on it. But the fact that they're probably clicking on and clicking off it's not good for the algorithm, but hey, don't don't think that you've got to be slave to the algorithm or anything. Do whatever you want to do. Yeah, but that's probably what's happening. That's why I figured people be searching for it and just hit mine. It might even be recommended to a few people. You know, you never know. I can't check any of that stuff now, not without mucking up my own live stream. I can watch it on my mobile phone though. I keep forgetting I've got a smartphone sitting right here on a different IP address. Meaning it's not connected up to my computer Wi-Fi on the cellular networks. That means in effect I get a different IP address, something which I've used to my advantage from time to time. Yeah, there's about a 30-second delay on YouTube. I'm just using standard latency. And Scott Manley's not doing anything. He did make a video, but it was kind of just, he does a sort of a regular news series, so he sort of had a segment in there for New Glenn. He doesn't do any live streaming, not on this.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We're at T-minus 19 minutes and 55 seconds to go until launch.
For about the third time.
Looking good there on the pad. We saw some beautiful views, as Denise has talked about. All the propellants are nice and chilled down. You saw the big, beautiful Blue Origin.
It's all ready to go, eh?
Mark and feather on that rocket. She is looking beautiful. But we do have a little bit more time here. Why don't we take a moment to talk about the BE-4 engines. We're looking at the vehicle right now. At the base of the vehicle, oh, that's a pretty shot right there. You see the 7 nozzles of the 7 BE-4 engines. You want to tell us a little bit more, Denise?
Yeah, so New Glenn is powered by 7 BE-4 engines. Now, these are the nation's first reusable, oxidizer-rich stage combustion booster engines. They use liquid oxygen and liquefied natural gas, or LNG, which is essentially a commercial form of methane.
Yeah, and we selected LNG because
she even called it methane.
Burning and more
SpaceX just call it methane,
kerosene, or also known as RP1, rocket propellant 1. That's what a lot of rockets use. It's also low cost.
I guess that way you can call it Methalox,
really
abbreviate it to Methalox.
Lots of launches, which is our intention for this New Glenn program. I should also note that we have done a ton of testing on the BE-4 engine, and we also want to keep those costs down as well. All of it adds up, right? And one of the coolest aspects, though, about LNG is that it can self-pressurize its tank through a process known as autogenous repressurization, right? So this eliminates the need for costly and complex systems that use helium, which is pretty rare. So normally you got helium and other gases in there to push the pressures properly through the engines to get them ready to go. But with LNG, it basically does it on its own. That's what that means.
It's so fascinating. And, you know, in terms of power, each BE-4 engine generates an impressive 550,000 pounds of thrust. So when you combine all 7 engines, New Glenn produces about 3.85 million pounds of thrust at launch. And just to put that into perspective, that's roughly half the thrust of a Saturn V rocket, which took humans to the moon. Imagine that power of 200 Boeing 737 airplane engines all firing at once. That's what we're looking at here.
And that is a ton of power. You see that these images here, this video, this is from our test facility down in West Texas.
Casino Master, you're talking about Blue Origin.
I've been down there actually for one of these tests, and our facility down in West Texas is in this valley, and it just reverberates. You feel like you're in the inside of a drum. It just shakes the entire valley. And I mean, it's just incredible. And we're putting 7 of those at the base of this vehicle. The other thing you should see in that video there is that it burns this really cool blue color. So that's another. I'm not saying that's why we chose this propellant, but it's a nice little bonus to it.
It sure is.
So a lot of power coming out of these engines, but then also a lot of interesting technology that's gone into the turbo pumps too. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
They sure are. So the turbo pumps, which pump fuel and oxygen, are also incredibly powerful. Together, they produce the equivalent amount of horsepower needed to power 2 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers at full speed. Yet each turbo pump is small enough to fit in the back seat of your car.
Think about that. I mean, the comparison is crazy, but just think about that efficiency that goes into that turbo machinery. Then you also see here, obviously, the comparison between our BE4 engine. So there are 7 of those on the base of the vehicle, and our BE3U, BE3 upper stage engines, are 2 of those on the second stage. I want to talk a little bit more here. You see the comparison of the BE4 to the BE3U. You also
Average
have
American woman.
comparison of the power of
64
it as well.
inches.
You know, both of these engines are highly sophisticated and have unique functionality built for New Glenn itself. So for BE4, as we noted, we've got 7 of these engines in total at the booster. We saw a cool image
Well,
of
you
that
know,
a
it's
second ago. The 3
SpaceX has
middle
developed
engines are gimbling
some really
engines
good
that can
engines too, and
pivot to help steer the rocket, so
it
that
could be
will
a
working,
profitable
of course, in
spin-off. You can
conjunction
sell
with the
those engines
fins,
to other
at the top
companies as
of
well.
the booster.
Not just keep them
Now,
to
those
yourself.
3 middle engines are going to relight
So the engines are very
help with
important.
deceleration and landing burns.
I'd almost say that
And
the
the other 4
recoverability is
engines are
solely to
fixed,
recover
and
the
this is the
engines,
combination
but
that gives us both
that's
the
the most
power that we
important.
need, but also the flexibility
my guess
we
that's
need for different
most
stages of flight.
that's the most
And you know, the
expensive
BE4
component in the
engines are
rocket.
produced at our manufacturing
You
facility
don't want to
in
bang up your
Huntsville,
engines too
Alabama,
much.
and
You
they're
want to
tested
try to reuse them
rigorously
if
at
you
our
can.
facilities, both in West Texas and Huntsville.
But
to
I'll tell you
ensure
one
they
thing to
meet
watch
the
out
high
for when
standards.
people will
And you
say
should note, there's 7
reusability.
of these on New Glenn.
It's a bit of an
But our
abstract
friends at
term. I
ULA with their
mean,
Vulcan rocket, they use 2
is it
of these
really
engines.
reusability, or do they
And
really
those
just
have
go and
already
refit the
flown
rocket
successfully to
anyways?
space.
So just because they
So
call
we are
something
very
reusable
proud
or
of that.
partially
These engines have already
reusable, there's
flown to
various
space. We
degrees of
can't wait to see them
reusability.
power
So
this,
like
this
all,
New
all
Glenn
marketing,
rocket as well. They are going to
you
be
want to go
rattling
and check
this building
if,
very,
you know,
very shortly.
if you're that interested, you want to
Well,
go and
with that,
check
it's
the
T-minus
check the
35
finer
minutes to
details. I
go
think.
until launch. Let's toss it back to the rocket and check out New Glenn as this vehicle gets ready for its launch to space this evening.
There's a reason why they made parts of rockets disposable. Very, very good reasons. Anyway, it's you know, all the best if they can work out reusability, but as long as it's real and not just a gimmick, I guess that's what I'm saying here. Anyway, it's, you know, I'm a bit of a skeptic. You see, I like to play devil's advocate on things. And people making claims, they should be able to back the claims up in some respect. 34 minutes. Did we jump up again? Oh boy. Well, I've got been going for almost 2 hours now. You know, fun putting in. Oh well, it's when I put in the YouTube channels. I'll just skip through it. I know what I'm looking for. Okay, it looks like they're not using the old hold trick. They're just increasing the count each time, not just pausing it. Yeah, we're in for the long haul, I think. I want to at one point my my willpower is going to break and I'm going to go and get a slice of pizza. I really hope they launch tonight. I had my schedule for this week all worked out, and it just all went to shit. I got some things I got to do. I tried to juggle everything around a bit. I seem to have more viewers now than I had earlier. That's interesting. It must be if I can get that thing up. No, it's the time over in the United States is absolutely awful. It's just going past 2 AM USA East Coast time. It must be I'd say most probably viewers are Australian. It's my video is going to be recommended to Australians first. I think that's the way it's going to work. Oh, okay. What did I do? Clicked on something. You still there, Casino Master? I think you're about my only commenter at this point in time. Look, if anyone wants to come in and promote their own channel, I'm usually okay with that. It's got to be video game related or you know, science and technology related like this. It have to be, can't be something else. If I pick up on that, I'll probably just remove the comment. It's at one stage when I was live streaming, I kept getting that those spam for the sex chat lines. Oh, they were awful. I had to switch my comments off sometimes. It was just ridiculous. My live chat stuff on the live stream. But they seem to have gotten all that under control, or at least it's so discreet now you don't even know that's what it is that you're looking at. But people, you know, fairly easy. I've had people come on, sort of, you know, they clearly got a YouTube channel as well, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I prefer a real human comment, though. I don't want anyone to think they can switch their YouTube bot on and just bot me with spam all the time every time I do a live stream. That would be unfortunate. I want a genuine comment, and I'm quite happy with it from a human being, not a computer program. You know what I mean? I'm good with that. Yeah, the botting and all that, that's just taking advantage of you. But if it's even self-promotion and it's an honest human comment, well, I'm good with that. yeah, like she said, the flaring is just as they fill the tanks, they've got to let pressure out of the top of the tanks, and they get some boil off of the fuel as well. So they just vent it off and burn it as the safest thing to do instead of letting it accumulate. So that's quite normal. Austin Bixler, hell yes. Yeah, we're in for the long haul. Unfortunately, look around, find a stream that you want to watch. Yeah, I've put in a couple of recommendations in my stream description, stuff that I follow. No particular no one paying me or anything to promote anything. I'm not a commercial channel. I'm not going to try to sell you a t-shirt or a coffee mug. I'm not going to do anything at all. I don't even ask for subs. I think, you know, if you like the channel, you'll sub. If you don't like it, you won't sub. I don't got to ask you to sub for anything. It's obvious what you're going to do. So I don't try not to insult people's intelligence. But you know, they'll marketing. They'll tell you to actually ask for something, ask for subs, ask for viewers, because it actually works when you do that. But I'm saying that I can't be asked doing that sort of stuff. Let people. They're adults. They can make up their own mind about what they want to do. I don't have to ask them or tell them to do anything. All right. More about okay, cool. I don't know what I can teach you, Austin, about KOS scripting.
For joining us. We are at T-minus 25 minutes and 40 seconds
hang on, I'll just
launch.
Yeah, we've got another 25 minutes. Austin, there's a Reddit group, a very good Reddit group. So, and there's people there that know a lot of things in the Reddit groups. You can try if you need some help. You can try there. You know, as long as you don't waste people's time, you ask some specific questions, they can answer them. You know, if you go and ask them, how do I write a script? Well, they'll go say read the manual. So oh, good. Yeah. Kerbal operating system scripting is good fun. It's good fun. I'm talking about Kerbal operating system. It's basically a Kerbal operating system. Sorry, Kerbal Space Program. It's a video game. This channel is for that, and that's a little green guy you can see in my thumbnail there. So it's just a very good game. It's basically a solar system simulator. Yeah, so it's a good game to play if you're into simulations. It's not a social simulator like The Sims, say, or Animal Crossing. It's not that. It's a technical simulator, so I call it a solar system simulator. You do have actual rockets that you fly and stuff like that. There's no story. You just go and do missions, and can get within. Okay, yeah, Austin. Yeah. Unfortunately, you especially when you do intercepts, that's actually quite complicated. Yeah, you got to learn it. Definitely, you got to learn how to program a bit of the orbital mechanics to do that one. It took me years to get a good intercept to work correctly. I used an algorithm called a Lambert solver, and that took me almost a year to get that running. So on and off, you know, I didn't devote all my time to it. But yeah, you got to get down there in the weeds to get that stuff to work. Yeah.
The engineers looking at all that data, we've got the controllers working through workarounds. So something that I think people don't always think about is that we have an enormous amount of what we're doing here in pre-launch procedures.
Did they increase the timer again?
But when off-nominal things
Probably.
are happening, we've got a team of controllers who can manually operate these systems. So the team
it's going to be a long night for the staff there.
They are actually going through and able to turn things on and off. You know, put different pressure through different valves. They are working through everything they can to make sure that we have a chance to launch today.
Yeah, well, I hope they launch today
Fantastic.
too.
Yes, you know, we run
all
through,
this
we
sunk
talk about all
cost
the
we've
preparation
already
for a
put
launch.
into
Of course,
today.
we talk about, you know, testing the rocket itself, but we also go through a lot of these simulations in terms of the operations with our team, and you test as much as you can. You go through as many rehearsals as possible, but sometimes day of, you gotta put all the, that's why we got the really smart people in there, so that they can work through whatever it is they're finding that might be a little bit off, and that's what our team is doing up there. Maggie,
you know,
what else?
Ariane,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you know, the team here has gotten some good practice. I think we all saw the hot fire that we recently successfully made it through. So that is, you know, almost everything up until launch. Before that, we had a successful second stage hot fire. Those are those BE3U engines. And before that, we were doing tanking tests, mass simulators. We've done component testing, system testing. And a lot of the engineers that are working in this room are actually responsible engineers on the floor. So they've gotten their hands on this hardware. They know their systems.
Excellent. Very good point. I think.
Is anyone else getting timeouts?
What we do here at Blue Origin, we tend to rotate our engineers. A lot of them, as you said, get to go down to the floor, see their hardware maybe that they've designed, talk to the men and women that are fabricating, but then also assembling the vehicle.
Yeah, you can't say it's not rocket science because it is rocket science.
So if there are things for them to work, especially in these last minutes,
I'm really impressed by the
right
engineers.
to do it.
Maggie,
I want to
get all
thank
this
you
stuff to
again
work.
for,
The theory
bringing
and
us
all
the
that's
details.
fine, but
We've got a couple of minutes to
but
go
it's,
here. We got 20
the
minutes.
people
and
actually get the
47
rockets
seconds go
to
until launch.
do
Why
the
don't we
stuff.
Take a look at New Glenn
They
as this rocket gets ready.
They
to
impress
go to
me.
space.
They impress me. Yeah, Alston. Yeah, I think it was the Blue Origin. Yeah, the Blue Origin channels bleeped there a little bit. Gosh, we're down to 10 minutes, and I went and got a cuppa and came back, and it's 20 minutes. Yeah, time does strange things. So we get there tonight. Yeah, that ice is building up. They can't go out there with wire brushes and scrape it all off, can they? Oh, they probably realise it's just going to fall off as soon as they switch the engines on. Yeah, I'd love to hear a technical call out for this rocket if they ever do one. You know, you get a bit of an idea of what the hold up is and stuff like that.
19 minutes to go until launch here, and while our teams are continuing to get aligned, why don't we take a moment to chat a little bit about this amazing building we are in, the factory at Rocket
Oh, it's a
Park
very
here
lovely
in
building.
Florida. This is where it all comes together, where we bend the metal on New Glenn. I literally see people down there bending metal, pulling, you know, putting the components together, testing, cleaning.
See what's going on with the other people. Oh, don't know why that came up. Advertisement, I guess. Okay, that's the one I'm listening to. What's this? Oh, that's a okay, that's just a video. All right, they've already released a video there. Okay, oh, that'll be interesting. I'll watch that later. Everyday astronaut. I don't think I'm ever going to have a webcam, you know. I thought about it and I thought, nah. You know, I just treat it like a podcast. Trouble is, webcams, they do sometimes they take up a lot of the screen. I know why people do it, but I'm just not interested. Plus, I'm a bit of a fidgeter as well. That might put people off, you know, touching my face and stuff like that. I just do it. I don't even know that I'm doing it. Probably wouldn't help. I'd probably have to do a bit of training, I would imagine. Okay, showing the Saturn V space shuttle. What else have we got? NASASpaceflight. Looks like they've got their own cameras somewhere, because it's. I reckon they got that cranked up. You can see all the shimmer in the atmosphere, so they got a big long telephoto lens on their camera there to get. Oh yeah, there you go. Was it NASASpaceflight who used to have that lady Boca Chica girl or something? Yeah. Oh, I guess that's SpaceX, isn't it? So yeah. All right. Sky News. Yeah, there's plenty to choose from.
The high bay.
Still talking about the building. Okay.
Raw material enters at one end,
Right.
and completed rocket stages roll out.
Oh,
it's
good to see the assembly line going.
There,
you know,
New
they're
Glenn
in
heads to
they're
the
in the
surface
business for the
coatings
long haul.
facility for its thermal protection,
Automate
paint,
all the
and
machinery and stuff like that.
It then heads to tank cleaning and test, or TCAT, for pressure testing and cleaning. The factory is also home to New Glenn's Mission Control. On launch days, Mission Control comes alive as the rocket rolls out from its
Certainly
hangar down
different
the road
than
and goes
SpaceX, isn't it?
vertical at Launch Complex 36.
They've got a strong arm to
This
lift
historic
it up
launch
there.
site was rebuilt from the ground up, just for
Strong
the
back,
event.
they call it, a strong back. Sorry.
Protected by two lightning towers, almost
There you go,
double the
lightning
height of the
towers.
Statue of Liberty. New Glenn prepares for liftoff
It's
at
just a
mile
number.
marker 0. This is where the road to space begins.
What a beautiful area Rocket Park is in. There's just so much history here on the Space Coast, and we are eager to write our own chapter with New Glenn.
Absolutely. There really is just so much history, and there's something to be said about the testing and integration and design teams all working so closely together. I know that working on the programs myself, being able to talk to the designers and the people who are making the hardware is just so valuable to increase communication and efficiency, and our campus really allows for that.
100%. The physical proximity is really, really important, and it's not known, actually, but historically rockets have launched out of the Cape, but they haven't been built here. And so to be able to build our rocket here, do the integration here
Yeah,
of the
I have
rocket,
to admit
but then
that's
also
different.
obviously the payload with the rocket, and then when we get GS1,
NASA sort of awards contracts to different people. And they tend to be in different states and stuff like
how
that.
all come together. And you know, I love that video because it
Probably because
you
they,
see all
they
the
you
action,
know,
as I mentioned. You know,
they can get tax
so
breaks
funny, I was
from the
looking through
state and stuff
photos,
like that.
Earlier today, and
I
I've
guess.
got photos in the flame trench when they were just putting
So
it up.
having
you know, they were
the
pouring
one
concrete.
commercial company,
You know, I
I'm saying
remember being in
putting the
this
whole system
facility when there
together,
weren't doors on it, you know,
is
dirt
different.
on the ground. I
Different than the
remember
way NASA
we
did
had
things.
no joke. We had a poll when they were clearing the land for this rocket park as to how many turtles we would find, because we have to relocate all of the turtles because of incredible wildlife in this area. So of course we wanted to make sure that we protect those.
Well, it's the only
animals and
reason
wildlife.
that the
And so we had
nature
we had
reserve
poll
is
as to how
there
many
is
turtles we were
because
going to
nobody wants
find.
to build
God, I
around,
wish I could remember.
around
I
a rocket
can't win
facility.
it, clearly.
So
But you know, there's just so much work that went into building this facility from the ground up.
yeah.
To be
So
here
if his
today is
gamble
just,
pays off.
It feels surreal in many ways. And you know, that I was just talking a little bit about the factory itself, but the launch complex, you know, LC-36, as you touched on earlier this evening, has been around for a long time, has been where many historic rockets and missions have launched from, and we basically stripped it down to the ground and rebuilt it for this world-class rocket for decades to come. You know, we invested in this facility knowing that we're going to be here a while. With that said, we also here at Blue Origin like to pay homage to the giants of who have the shoulders upon which we stand.
Oh
right?
boy, it jumped up again, did it?
Named New Glenn.
Holy
really
moly.
cool is, and you can't quite see it here in the dark, but we kept what's called the blockhouse. So a lot of the previous
It's 38 minutes
during a lot
now.
of the previous launches, there would actually be a crew in the blockhouse, which is not very far from that launch pad, when they launched a rocket. This thing is like a concrete fort, basically. It's not very big, and it's got, on the inside, it's got these massive, heavy doors that close to protect.
Well, I think they've got
the
about
team.
3 hour
To be very
launch
clear,
window.
We're not using that
then
blockhouse tonight. We don't use it in our operations.
I
but
doubt
it is
they'd use it
something
all
that
up.
we have
I think
kept on
they've just
site,
scrubbed the launch before then.
because of the history that is in that
Oh my.
facility. I
Well,
hope that one day I'll
definitely
be able to go back in there. I did get a chance to peek my head in,
if
a
they
couple
scrub
of
the
years ago.
launch and I have to
feels
cover this
almost
again,
like
I'll start a lot closer
that's
to
the right way
the
of putting it. It feels
advertised
like a
launch.
step
Actually,
into the
I may
past.
not.
You know, the old computers. And
May not
like,
start until
you know,
the countdown's down to about 10
ashtrays.
minutes.
They're literally cigarettes that are still there from back in the day. We
Yeah.
don't allow that in our launch control rooms. But again, clearly a throwback to the past. But just this facility, it feels really good to be here. It feels like we are.
I don't know
we're
what
set
this
up for
feels like to
success
the
as much as
average
possible,
viewer, just
which
seeing
really great.
the clock
Okay,
get
we are at
reset
T
again and
minus
again
now
and again like
36
this.
minutes and 40 seconds to go until launch. Again, our
I
team
mean,
has added
fans
more
like
time to the
me, you know,
clock.
we're
They
a
are
patient
working
bunch,
through their
but
checklist. There's clearly some things that they want to spend a little bit more time on.
imagine if
and
somebody
that is
played
okay.
a
I will
sports match
reiterate.
like this.
We
Maybe
have
the
spent
only
years designing
sport
this
match
rocket.
would be
We have
cricket, you know,
spent
where they delay it
months
and
and
delay
months
it
designing
because of the weather or something.
This mission,
Oh, I
building
guess
this
that's
particular vehicle as well.
people wait for the cricket, don't they?
Design and test that's gone into the engines that are powering this rocket. If we need a couple more minutes, especially on this first launch, that is okay with us. You know, we want to give our team the
Yeah, I
right
want them to
time
be completely
and
safe
space
as
that
well,
they
you
need
know.
to work on whatever they got going on up there.
I got pizza in the
I
fridge.
also want to keep in mind, my understanding is that the
Even
weather
the thought of
continues to
cold
stay
pizza starting
inbound
to
here at the Cape, as well as out
feel
at
appealing
sea.
now.
But for the moment, we have decided to put more time on the clock, which means that we still have
For
a
about the
chance
fifth
to have
time.
the opportunity to launch this evening. I should say,
I was waiting for it,
I
Aria.
know.
She's basically saying be
Apropos
optimistic,
because the vehicle
it hasn't scrubbed yet.
says
So you're
Consider
telling
that
me
a
there's
plus.
chance.
that is the name.
I'm
of this
starting to
booster.
get a scrub feeling
yes,
out of this one.
Everything is, it's like it was meant to be.
There's not much point in me
Okay,
apologising.
with
I
that,
mean,
we
it
are
is what it
T-minus
is, you know.
35 minutes to go until launch. Let's continue to check out
Apologise for
New Glenn
something
on
I
the
don't have
pad.
any control over.
Continues to prepare for its launch to space this evening.
I'm starting to get a scrub feeling out of this one. I think if we get down to 10 minutes, I'm gonna mute my mic and eat a slice of cold pizza. No, just have another cup of tea on an empty stomach is probably not a good idea. So if we get down to 10 minutes, all right, I'll definitely do that. I'm starting to get a scrub feeling about this one. Don't be too optimistic about it. You know, are you a gambling person or not? You know, that's what it comes down to. I'm here for the long haul, but I'm starting to get a scrub feeling from this one. There's a lot of delays there. Yeah, well, we'll just have to see. Come back in 30 minutes time and have a look, you know, see if things have improved or it's been scrubbed. Or go to Everyday Astronaut, that, and as long as you're got a you know, you've got a YouTube account, you can go and look at the chat and stuff. But what do you have, 130,000 viewers? So the chat would be totally impossible. People would be trying to insert, you know, other things into the chat and stuff like that. It'd be an impossible job to keep that chat clean. I think he restricts his chat to subscribers only, so you know that makes a lot of sense. Other places just turned off the chat completely because there's too many wallies who are trying to insert their own agenda and stuff like that into it. You know, they're taking advantage of you by spamming like that. So you can see I do not like them at all. I don't mind people kind of talking about other subjects, but if the whole point for them coming to your chat is to promote some agenda that they've got, no, not really. There's plenty of other channels for that, so I think they're just taking advantage of other viewers, you know, of a captive audience there. So I don't like that sort of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure his chat's impossible. He's got it subscribers only, so that would help out a bit. I've had 8 likes, so well, I will say thank you for the likes. And if you dislike it, that's fine too. If you care enough about it to dislike it, yeah. If I get a high dislike ratio, then I'll have a closer look at what I did, and maybe I can improve things. A few dislikes you don't worry about, but if the number's significant, then you got to think that there is something wrong. The sound of pumps.
Welcome back, everybody. We're at T-minus 31 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. As you may have noted, we continued to add time back to the clock. That, of course, is to make sure that our teams are aligned. I do understand that we're working an issue. That is okay. That means, you know, if we're adding time to the clock, it means that the team thinks that there might be a possibility that we can,
yeah, she's trying to put an optimistic spin on it. I got a scrub feeling at it.
That they need.
The scrub feeling from this one.
Beautiful view of the vehicle on the pad there. From the outside, she sure looks ready to go, but of course, there's so much that goes into a complex vehicle like this. But since we do have some time, why don't we take a closer look at our vision and mission at Blue Origin? You know, as we've said time and time again, we're building a road to space for the benefit of Earth. This vision isn't only about exploring space, it's about making life better here on Earth. Let's check it out a bit more about our vision.
New Shepard is just the beginning.
The first step.
From the very start, it's only been about one
I'm quite surprised.
Earth, our Blue Origin.
Don't know if they do zero-G training before they let them into the spacecraft.
Rocky moons.
Earth is the best
some people freak out.
It is not close.
Despite the variety.
Apparently, it's not a pleasant feeling when you first feel it. It feels like you're in a falling elevator.
There's no place like home.
Earth is our home.
when you're in microgravity.
All life on Earth are uniquely matched to this planet. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the solar system. Not even close, no way.
Not even Mars.
No choice but to preserve Earth.
Preserve this planet, this one.
We get to focus on the future, and the future is nothing without Earth.
For almost all of human history, Earth has seemed big.
It seemed big, but we now know it's small, it's finite. And we
Yeah,
know
when
that
we
the
go and
rate
fill
that
it
we're
up,
using Earth's
yeah. What do you
resources
think's
is
going to
not
happen?
sustainable.
Earth has things that we need to work on in the here and now.
But there are also long-term problems.
We can't wait to work on the long-term problems. We have to work on both.
One fundamental long-term problem.
We will run out of energy on Earth.
It's just arithmetic. It's going to happen. Humans have always used about 100 watts of power. That's our natural metabolic rate.
But in our developed technological society, we use over 10,000 watts of power per person.
Humans' use of energy is
Where is
not
this
actually a
going?
bad thing.
We live in an era of dynamism and growth.
There are so many good things that happen when we use energy.
Think about technology, transportation, hospitals, data.
As humans, we are at our best when we are inventing, when we are growing, when we are making progress.
But humans are doubling our energy use every 25 years, and that's unsustainable. Today, you could cover all of humanity's energy needs by covering the state of Nevada in solar cells. But at that rate of growth, in 200 years, you'd have to cover the entire planet in solar cells.
What can we do? Can we be more efficient? Yes, but we have been.
Today's technology is more efficient in nearly every manner.
We are gaining efficiency, and yet, when we gain more efficiency, what do?
We use more energy.
We have an ever-increasing demand for more energy.
Well, that's
So
the
what if we
problem,
just
isn't it?
use less? Well, that doesn't
growth.
work either.
Stop growing.
Throttling energy use means slowing down progress. You stop living in a world of abundance and you move to a world
The
of
world's
scarcity
never had
and
an
rationing.
abundance.
There has to be another way.
Ever.
There is another way. Space.
Really?
Space is full of abundant resources and energy.
Space is vast and practically limitless. If we can learn to harness the power of space and the resources of space, we can tap the limitless resources to help preserve this planet.
We can go to space for what we need. We'll make it routine.
Oh, okay,
safe,
okay. They're
and
talking about
cost-effective to
developing
get
a space industry
We will build
to
rockets
exploit the
and
resources.
destinations for doing real work in space.
It's
We can do even
it's a
more
good
than
idea on
this.
paper.
We can move the most polluting
Good idea on
industries
paper. I
from
don't know if
Earth
anyone's ever
into
done
space,
the
where they
numbers on
can't
it
hurt
exactly.
the Earth or the environment.
Because
We can return
getting
Earth
into
to a
space is hard.
beautiful,
So that takes a
natural
lot of
state.
energy and
It will be like a
resources in the
garden,
first place.
like a national
so,
park. A place for education, for creativity, and for
you
recreation.
know,
A place for enjoyment and for nature to thrive. In space, we can
yeah,
expand
just having less
humanity.
people would do
We
exactly
don't
the
wanna
same
leave
thing
Earth
too. So you know,
but preserve it.
let's
and
consider
expand
all
humanity
options.
into space.
We can have 1 trillion humans in the solar system, which
Oh.
means we'd have 1,000 Mozarts and
Yeah,
1,000
yeah, all right,
Einsteins.
all right. I see.
This
I
would
see
be
where
an
he's going.
incredible civilization.
Grow.
Humanity will grow and progress and use energy for good.
Humanity can expand into the solar system by building destinations close to Earth, close to our home planet.
New places. Places we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Places that feel like home. Places where
Oh,
great
boy.
work can be done using the resources of space. An expanse that is meant for everyone.
Oh, you got a barn, have you? You don't need a barn when you're inside a cylinder.
This is a
Great.
hopeful future.
This
An
is
enduring
silly.
human presence
This is
in space.
incredibly silly.
Space is the
I was wondering where they were
long-term
going with
solution
this.
for
Now they're really just gone off on
We are
a totally
building a
wild
critical part of the
tangent.
infrastructure that's going to allow others to unlock
the road
You know,
to
you
space
go and mine the
so that future
astronaut,
generations
or it's,
can
you'll
unleash their
be
creativity.
living in a tunnel. I can assure you.
It won't be easy. Space must become much, much more accessible to make this vision a reality.
Go and watch The Expanse. It's
Things
probably
start
more
somewhere,
realistic,
and
except for
that
the rocket
somewhere
engines.
happens to be today.
There are certain gates we have to go through certain prerequisites. If we don't do these, we will never get there.
First, we have to radically lower the cost of access to space.
This means reusable rockets.
We have to get really good at using rockets over and over.
Reusable rockets, reusable engines.
Once you learn how to do that, you can basically start spinning this flywheel where the more you fly, the cheaper it gets. The cheaper it gets, the more you fly.
Launch.
Well, we will see. We will
Going
see.
back and landing a rocket is really hard. And it is
You know, they're just
absolutely
talking,
essential to
right?
get good at that so we
It might
drive down the
happen.
cost
It
of
may
launch
not
rockets.
happen. I guess you can try. There's nothing wrong with trying, but
BE3, BE4, BE7.
I'd hate to think
all
that they
made from the
impoverish
ground
the
up to
Earth
be
in the
reusable
attempt. I
propulsion
mean, at
systems.
some point you got to decide
Operational reusability.
we're not getting a
That means
payback for
making
our
space
investment.
travel
There's
as
no point in
routine
doing
as
it.
air travel is.
This is what
There's a
will
reason why
radically
nobody's
bring
ever
down
gone
the
back to the
cost of
moon,
getting to space.
because it
And
was
we
useless.
are bringing all of that learning to New Glenn, the next step of
Not a nice
building
place
the
at all.
road to space.
Once you have
I'm all for
low-cost
getting out to
access
the asteroids
space,
because you
the
can
next
actually
gate
move them around
becomes
if
harnessing
you're careful
the
about it.
resources of the solar system.
It's
There are
limited,
so
but
many more
you can move
resources
them a
up
little
there
bit.
in space than there is on our planet.
I mean, everyone's familiar with this idea of locally sourced goods, and this is just a really extreme version of that.
The moon is where we'll learn to do all this.
The moon has a vast quantity of resources.
Oh, I
If we
think
can
even
learn to
go to the
harness
moon's
those
a
resources,
mistake.
we can
I'd go to the
travel
asteroids
without
first.
stressing the Earth.
That's the goal.
Trouble is,
We'll
there's
go to
no
space,
there's no
and we'll
decent
use its
asteroids close by.
to power our transportation and build destinations.
Anything we need.
You have to go to the
we will
asteroid
use
belt,
the
and that's
stuff in
a long way
space
out.
to make it happen.
The moon is the next
So it's
thing.
like I said
We're
before,
going back.
the higher you go,
It's time to go back to
the
the
more
moon,
energy
it's
you got
time to
to
stay.
expend to get there. So it's high relative to the center of the sun. So the asteroid belt is higher than the Earth is.
Make no mistake about this. This is not going to get done by any one generation. One of the things that we have to do is inspire those future generations.
This vision of millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth is a very, very long-term vision.
It's gonna take generations.
We have to make sure that what we're doing today is setting up the next generation.
It's going to take all kinds of people.
Engineers, entrepreneurs, architects, artists, you, your children, your grandchildren.
This is kind of humanity's.
Well, let's
cathedral, you know,
get to the moon.
cathedrals
Let's
took
get to the
multiple
moon again
generations
first, eh? And then
of
we'll
artisans and craftsmen
then we'll
and
take
masons
it
to
from
build.
there. I
There
think
was
let's
never the expectation that
do these
one
fulfill
person would
your
design
contracts to
fully
NASA
execute the vision.
to build another
We have to inspire
moon
the
lander.
next generation
Go and check
to
out
carry
the
this
south pole of
torch
the moon,
for the benefit of
and
Earth.
see if there's
the benefit of
any
Earth.
usable water
For
there.
the benefit
There
of
might
Earth.
be some water.
We
We're
are
not sure
Blue
though.
Origin.
And we will do
I have to
all
go and
of
have a
this.
look, and that's
do
fair
all of
enough.
this
A bit of
for the benefit
exploration.
of
I'm all
Earth.
for exploration because that advances human knowledge. But trying to say that humans are going to move into space, we can't even live on the bottom of the ocean without there being
Such
problems.
An inspiring message. You know, actually, our very name, Blue Origin, means Earth, right? So
A bit of
future
rough
generations
weather, and they had
are
to
out
scrub the
there,
launch because the barges they're
looking
going to
back.
land the
They will
booster
look
on.
back at their
The seas are
Blue
too
Origin
rough. I
at
mean,
Earth,
they got
right?
problems.
So
They really do
we
have
really need
problems
to protect this planet.
with
other
the
reason
current
why
systems.
I love our name, Blue Origin, is it means Earth. It means all of us. We are building these really cool, pieces of space technology.
Really cool.
not only
Oh, they are
just
cool. I
for
agree.
one
I
country,
agree. They're cool.
Not only for one.
I'm sitting here
hemisphere,
watching the
it really
stupid
is
things.
for the entire world, and that's why I love that that our company has this bigger, broader vision. Actually, before I took my current role, I was leading our commercial and international sales, and it was just really nice to get out there and talk to our international customers and people from around the world in the space industry. I should say big shout out to them out there if you guys are watching, and really talking to them about whether it's New Glenn or Blue Ring or our lunar lander, what they can do and how they can take advantage of our technologies. I just love that we think broadly like that, and it's one of the many things that's kept me here at Blue. But I also want to talk, obviously a main theme of that video there is this idea that as part of the long-term vision, we really need to protect this planet and the role of space technologies, what we're doing at Blue and what other organizations
Let's see if we get to 10 minutes.
Around the world.
I think I'm going to have some pizza.
Because it is going to help protect Earth, right? And that's also why we start with reusable rockets and reusable rocket engines, and the way that we're designing them
Partially
to run on
reusable.
propellants that are less harmful to the Earth, like liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, and LNG. We were talking about that earlier. It's just so important.
It gives me such a sense of pride because it really is about the everyday work that we do now and how that would impact future generations. So all of this is going to create a longer term impact on Earth that's truly going to benefit humans for future generations. By focusing on the sustainability of our designs, we're really ensuring that our advancements in space technology do not come at the expense of our home planet Earth.
Yeah, a couple of minutes ago we threw it back to our co-host Eddie out there at Cars Park, and again, talking about the multiple generations, how cool is it that he was there with the father-son pair that both work at Blue, plus the son's daughter that's there, and she's just going wild over space, and she can't wait to see this rocket launch. We have to think in that sort of generational time scale, right? There was also our teammate that's up in
It's been
launch
sadly
control,
lacking up to now.
whose grandfather
They had Apollo
was,
missions
on
ready to
Apollo,
go, and they
she
got
is
cancelled. So
pregnant. You can see she's pregnant in the photo. Like,
that's
who
reality
knows
for
what
you.
her child is going to end up doing, and hopefully, what we're doing here at Blue is going to benefit again these next generations. We're building the road to space with these first initial steps tonight. New Glenn. We're also talking about Blue Ring.
They got less lifting capacity than they had in early 1970s.
That's up there in space, right? It's not just about
time will tell.
transportation,
Time will tell.
which is crucial. Don't get me wrong, but then once we're up there,
At least they're not talking about Mars. Oh, that would set me off completely.
In this case, our customers, but also ourselves.
Mars.
When I say ourselves, Blue Origin and some of the missions we're doing. As we build our capabilities out there, by definition, space is infinite, and so if we can take advantage of that,
No, it's not. Nothing's infinite.
That will help us take advantage of that. I mean,
Infinity is a big number.
For the benefit of Earth, the future is bright. Okay, with that, we are T-minus 16 minutes and 40 seconds to go until launch. Our teams continue to get aligned. They're working on a couple of issues. This is our first launch. They need that extra time. We're going to give it to them because otherwise speaking, this team is ready to rock and roll, and that rocket there looks chilled in and ready to go to space. So with that, let's continue to check out New Glenn on the pad, ready for NG-1.
See if we get to 10 minutes this time. That was slow. that's a distant shot. Pretty sure the crew's gone off to get another cup of tea and a biscuit. Ooh, I have that scrubbing feeling. Advancement for all mankind, but maybe not tonight. Curse of the Black Jelly Bean, I was about to get up and they took the timer off. Uh-oh, I got a scrub feeling. Boy, that's the second time I've done this. Curse of the Black Jelly Bean. They call it. Ah, dearie me. I thought I had 10 minutes to go get my slice of pizza. I don't think I even had that. Definitely got a scrub feeling. Why don't they just hold the timer? Must think it looks bad or something. Well, I can't leave now because I was counting on that timer. Damn! Just as soon as I muted my mic, I looked up and there it was. It said 0 and now it's not showing at all. Oh boy. Yeah, I think they've scrubbed. I think it's scrubbed. Oh, it probably won't even be worth putting the, yeah, it won't even be worth, I watched some of it, but it won't even be worth putting the YouTube chapters on because we didn't achieve anything tonight to save them for the next launch. Hopefully. Gee, I reckon I reckon they're not going to launch for a couple of weeks after this. So it'll be SpaceX Starship. We'll have the world's attention again. Boomer. See, this is what I mean. It's just not easy. After all that aspirational talk. And somewhere there is a valve that is stuck. Not stuck or something. Or the swells come back up in the Atlantic. And they don't want to throw the booster away. Oh, damn it. Oh, what a shame. Well, I've got to sit here now because they might say something. So I think I'm going to have all the time to eat my pizza in a minute or two. Yeah, I don't think I'll put the YouTube chapters in. It's not worth it. I might even think about deleting. I don't really want to delete the VOD. I might unlist it perhaps and leave it there. So if anyone's keen enough, they'll find it. Yeah, and we'll try again next time and work out the problem. I think there is zero chance that it's going to come back unless it's a ruddy miracle. But until they say it's scrubbed, I've got to sit here and wait for them to say it. Can't believe that. Can't believe that. I was just muted my mic and looked up. I have time to eat half a pizza. Sound of pumps.
Okay, we've just been getting an update from Mission Control. We are standing down today's launch attempt
it's a scrub.
to troubleshoot a vehicle subsystem issue that will take us beyond our launch window. We are reviewing opportunities for our next launch attempt. So we've scrubbed
they had a
today's
backup
NG-1
for
mission
tomorrow.
to give the team more time to work that issue. And
consider
we're
that very
reviewing
unlikely.
what other things that we might need to get done in that period. When we know when the next opportunity is, of course, we will let everybody know. Now, to give the viewers a sense of what happens next, the launch team is now working to detank and safe the vehicle. From there, we're going to assess as mentioned, what other things we might want to get done in our
Hang on.
downtime, and that is what's going to guide when the next launch opportunity will be. Follow us on social media. That's the way to stay up to date on announcements for that next launch attempt. We do want to thank you
I'm
for
just
joining
updating
us.
the title.
We can't wait to get right back here for our next launch attempt. Stay tuned. Gradatum Ferociter.
All right. Well, it's not as if this hasn't happened before. So this is probably why I don't watch too many launches live unless I think they're pretty close. Oh, it was okay. They got a bit weird towards the end there, which I don't like, because I think I just think it's bullshit, basically. Let's be honest. The aspirational stuff. Usually it's, SpaceX starting to talk about Mars. It's just a marketing gimmick. Oh, bugger that.
Terry the Sparky's saving hard for a cottage.
What have they done to me? I was trying to talk here. But no, the presentation was good. The presenters were lovely. That's all fine. I didn't mind that. They're just doing their job. If I had the choice, I'd just go and watch one with no commentary and just technical talk, call outs and stuff. And it's only, for me personally, it's just because I already know a lot of the details, so I don't need to hear it again. I guess other people haven't heard the details. Oh, that's a shame. I really wanted to see this flight succeed. Yeah, everybody was lovely. I mean, there's no problem with any of that. Just that aspirational advertisement at the end kind of soured things for me a bit. It's talk is cheap. You can say whatever you want. But as the movie said, it's small steps. Yeah, let's go and do a bit more exploring of the moon and see if there's actually any water on the South Pole, or let's try to get out to a couple of asteroids to see if they're worth mining or not, or the cost of getting out there is just too high to begin with. Because remember, they've got to bring it all back somehow. And the thing is about space, if you move anything, it takes energy. So because you move stuff into different orbits and things. Mars, let's leave Mars to the robots. Let's not contaminate the place with human presence. It's totally unnecessary. There's nothing on Mars that's worth well, in my opinion, there's nothing on Mars that's worth going out there for. Hey, look, maybe somebody will make some fantastic discovery, but based on what we currently know about Mars, it's not worth it. Other than exploration, perhaps. Exploration's fine, but you're not going to build any cities on Mars. I think you'd be lucky to even ever in the entire history of the world get a human out to Mars without them dying in the process. Send robots. Okay, so my viewer count just shot up. Not really sure why. Okay, I'll wrap up. Then I can go get a slice of pizza as my reward. Yeah, it got scrubbed. They had a technical issue. I started to get the feeling because they kept resetting the countdown timer. Instead of just pausing it, they kept actually resetting it, and they did that several times. So that with each one, I was beginning to feel worse and worse. I was getting that scrub feeling. It sounds like they got a problem. It's not, say, a boat in the exclusion zone or something like that. So I think that that problem is serious enough that they're not going to be able to use up their backup date of tomorrow either. But let's just see what happens. But I think that's extremely unlikely. So I think odds are that if SpaceX Starship goes ahead on in a couple of days' time, that's going to be the first one up. So he's going to get the SpaceX is going to get the limelight again. Blue Origin's had their chance tonight, and it didn't work out for them. So you know, just from a marketing point of view, it was a disaster. But you know, there's problems. With these rockets. Well, the fact that, you know, rough seas can out in the Atlantic somewhere can scrub your launch, like it did for a few days, or delay your launch. You can see, yeah, as Gig trying to get humanity out to the planets, it sounds a little unreliable. If small things like that can scupper it. Yeah, I'm being facetious, by the way, but the bottom line is space is hard and expensive. Otherwise, hey, at the end of the Apollo mission, they had everything going for them. They had missions ready to go. They had a working command module launch system, and they even the missions that have been paid for got cancelled. So yeah, it just shows you how really committed people are to this space stuff. So if anyone starts to talk aspirational, just take it all with a bit of grain of salt. It's the real success stories have been the robots have been sending, the robot probes and things. All right, I seem to have even more viewers now. Weird. All right, I better wrap up. I'll catch you in future streams.